Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset Episode 111. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you love playing Destiny as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, Bungie smashes the hype ceiling with the live-action trailer. We welcome the infamous DrLupo on to talk about the PC beta. And finally, the Derptage has been released to cap off the final chapter in Destiny 1. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and here with me, of course, Mr. CyborgSasquatch. Hello, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
Really excited.
I know, right? This is about as exciting as it gets.
It's just a day away.
If all has went well and this episode has gotten edited, it is less than 24 hours away from all of us playing Destiny 2.
to play Destiny 2.
Oh, man. I'm so pumped. So pumped.
Things are going to be different, man.
There are no words.
It's a whole
here on out.
brave new frontier. One of us may not come back.
Well, that's only if Trials drops.
If I die, you can have my last word.
Oh, man. Leave me that last word, because at some point, whether I get yours or my own, I want one. But I would rather get my own.
I get the last word in.
Ooh, I'd rather get my own and you stick around, buddy.
All right. It's all right, let's do this show, man. We got to get this done.
We do.
We got to get us another sleep in. We can play this game that we like called Destiny 2. You ready?
I'm ready, man. I'm excited too because I got a call from my GameStop today, and apparently they haven't heard of the new little thing that came out that like it's supposed to come out at a different time, and I'm still getting it at 9.
Nice, that's good.
So,
you got a physical copy for PS4?
Yes, yep, I did. So, yeah, it's a little side note there, but yeah, right? Yeah, I know.
Cool though, that's good. I hope you get it on time and ready.
Yeah, if not, 11's fine.
Yeah,
but. It works, man. We got a lot to talk about, dude. We got some announcements this week?
Yes, we got some important announcements. Let's get through these real quick here.
First off, exciting.
Oh, super exciting. Last week we talked about giving away a Blue Yeti from our sponsor, Blue Microphones. And we asked you to nominate someone that you felt deserved or could make great use of a Blue Yeti. And man, we got a ton of nominations.
Yes.
I mean, people were just popping them off 2-3 at a time. I was like, whoa, slow down, folks.
Very cool.
But we got some great nominations and compiled them all together. And RNGesus has chosen a winner. Who's the winner, AER0KNIGHT?
Miss Giggles.
With 3 S's and an underscore.
Yes. Congratulations.
Miss Giggles. Who is reportedly a partnered Twitch streamer. You have won a Blue Yeti. Contact us to claim it. It comes directly from Blue Microphones via FedEx, so we'll have to get some information from you. If you nominated Miss Giggles, great job. You just won your friend a new microphone.
I think a thanks are in order, and not to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
To that person that nominated you.
Yeah, thanks for being selfless and thinking of someone else.
I love these giveaways, man.
I do too.
Just promotes great feelings.
But stay tuned all through September. You will have opportunities to win a Blue Yeti for yourself this month. We'll be giving away another one. So pay attention to Twitter and the show. Yeah.
What else we got, man?
Update to the Fight the Flood charity stream that we announced last week. We would be bringing back to benefit victims of Hurricane Harvey in Texas. We do have some more concrete information for you if you're interested in participating or supporting this cause. It will take place September 22nd through the 24th. It will be a 48-hour charity stream.
Oh, man.
We're going big this time, and our goal initially is $25,000. all benefits, all money raised benefits the Salvation Army and goes directly to that organization through our links that we provide with Streamlabs. Anything you give goes directly to their PayPal. It works great. We did it last year. We raised almost $14,000. And we're really looking forward to doing this again this year. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. Mm-hmm. And we would love to have your support if you would like to help in any way. Some examples could be last year we had a lot of people provide things to be given away. If you're interested in doing that, whether it was, some of the best options were currency for Xbox, Steam, PS4, or other, electronic funds, things like that. Those were really easy to give away. We had a lot of physical items. If you're interested in doing that at all, we've got someone in charge of handling all the giveaways this year, and that is our friend Fluffy. You can hit him up on Discord, on Twitter. That's Fluffy Fingers MD. Give him a direct message if you want to talk to him about helping with that.
Just a heads up, if you've messaged Cyborg or I or emailed us, just since we mentioned it last week, we are getting back to you. As awesome as the community is, it's like instant. You guys start messaging us, so we will definitely get back with you if you've tried to contact us. And we thank you. And like Cyborg mentioned, moving forward, you can message Mr. Fluffy as well. That's
for giveaways. Now, if you are an organization and you would like to participate in supporting the cause or giving a loudspeaker to what's going to be going on or help promote, AER0KNIGHT is going to be in charge of that aspect of things. You can DM him or email us at destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com. And then finally, if you are a content creator, specifically a streamer, and you're interested in a block, we do have a limited number, but reach out to us either on Twitter or to our email if you'd like to be considered. And that's about it for now. We'll give you more information when we've got it. As things come together, you will see more information on Twitter, Twitch, etc., etc. But we're very excited to be able to do this to help those people that really need it in Texas. They're going to have this. They've got a long struggle ahead. So
it's a good thing.
All right. What else we got?
Next up, DrFam Reunion Year 2. It's happening very soon. It's actually happening the same weekend, September 22nd through the 24th in Sedalia, Missouri.
Yep.
Mr. Scorio70 hosts this for us. Thank you so much, Scorio, Oreo, whatever we all like to call you. It's SCOREO70. Message him in Discord if you are interested in going. Basically, we just get together. Destiny 2 will be out. We will tell you here soon, but Trials will also be dropped again. So there will probably be some LAN party action of Destiny 2 going on. But if you guys are interested at all, close at all, want to travel a little bit, I will be there. Sedalia, Missouri. Message Scorio. And we will be watching this charity stream. I'm actually not heading out until the 23rd, so I will be helping Mr. Cyborgio out that Friday night. But come Saturday, we're going to be enjoying this phenomenal charity stream all together in a living room.
Awesome.
Watching the hype.
Wish I could be there.
Yeah.
I actually
anybody that can make it.
Engagement party that weekend.
Oh.
That I'm a best man in my friend's wedding. So no getting out of that one.
No, you got to go to that, man. Got to go to that. All right, we got one more announcement, guys.
Very big.
This is the opposite of last week. The
exact opposite. There will be no spoilers this week on this podcast.
Nothing.
Over
no
our
spoilers.
Dead bodies. We are only talking in the news about what came directly from Bungie in their promotional efforts this week.
Yes.
You're not going to hear any talk about what's going to happen in Destiny 2 within the game, whether it be story, names of things, lore, blah, blah, blah. Look, there's a metric ton of spoilers that have managed to leak, and we're not going to talk about any of that.
No, last week we made an effort to give you 2 warnings, and we talked about some, but this week there's just been too much leaked. We're too close. We haven't even watched most of it, half of it. So
not even a tiny bit.
No spoilers this week.
No spoilers.
So you guys listen on.
So hang out with
your
us.
Heart's content.
Enjoy discussing the news that we do have, and we have a great interview after that for you to listen to, where we talked about the PT beta. Who did we talk to?
Some doctor.
Some doctor guy. I don't think he was really a doctor, though. He didn't sound like one. Like, I don't know. If it was between him and, like, Doogie Howser, I'm just saying I'd let Doogie Howser
We may have
operate.
to, like, add a few questions to our interview before we interview process.
Yeah, we may need to do some better background checks. I'm just saying. All right. You want to do some news?
Let's do it, man.
All right.
The TWA was juicy this week.
Whew, boy. A lot of good information here. First off, dude, how about that freaking live action trailer?
Dude, Dude is right.
Gosh.
That thing, absolutely amazing.
Loved it. And I to be honest, like, didn't even have this ideal in my radar. I mean, for a lot of other big Destiny events, release of Destiny 1, I think the Taken King, and wasn't there another one? They've done several live action trailers, and I guess we should have been thinking that this could happen, but they dropped it so close to release, man.
Yeah,
and
super close.
I loved it, dude. What was your favorite part? I need to know, because I just
loved that it was less. There were comical parts, but it was like serious Destiny for me.
Yeah,
like it was like let's shoot up some aliens. And
there's a moment that gave me chills in this trailer, and it's when they first start the montage of them just kicking butt, right? And the Titan's on this floor, and he's like beating them up with his Sentinel shield, and then he just decides to put it over his head and jump through the floor of the building above him.
Yeah.
Oh man, that
I think it made everybody just want a Destiny movie.
That was the moment, man.
Give us another hour of this. Just everything that they did just in it all together. I laughed out loud on the puppies part, dude.
Oh man.
Like the Titan, like for the puppies. That was
the puppies great. is definitely, they knew they were creating some memeable writing there, and the team that put this together did a fantastic job. It is the guy that directed Kong Skull Island. If you saw that movie last year, I guess it was, he put this together with a team, and not only did it look amazing, but the action and just the writing, everything in it was just killer for me, man. I just loved it. How many times have you watched it?
I've watched it several. Actually, the past couple of days, I've went back to Bungie's YouTube, and I'm watching like everything from the announcement up to date.
Oh wow!
And I've had to sneak in just to build the hype even more. Nice. If I even need to do that, make sure I didn't miss any cool scene. And yeah, I've circled back around to this one and the launch trailer, dude. The music timing and the music choice of the soundtrack in the launch trailer just gives me chills, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like when they show the tower exploding and the little ring that comes on, and then just all this stuff. I thought about it again this week. Like we're gonna look back at this, how they've laid out this marketing plan has been. I mean, we say they're brilliant, but this has been a whole nother level of brilliance of how they've just given us just a little bit here and there. I mean, it feels like we're already playing the game, not only playing the betas, but all these videos that are dropping, the live action trailer, the launch trailer, the this, the that. It's like, okay, you guys, literally, I'm numb. I can't handle it. Just give us the game.
I think this trailer pushed me to a level I was not ready. Just I thought I was overhyped. Now I'm like, I'm like shaking. I'm just like, ah, give me the game.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the best part about it all is and we'll have our hands on it very soon, but I mean, it appears as though Destiny 2 is like in every way, shape, and form expanding on what we loved about Destiny 1 in multiple ways. So not only is the hype there, I'm hoping and think, and it feels as though once we start playing, it's just going to continue.
I hope so. But man, what a great way to really like cap off an excellent PR campaign. They've really killed it. But this live action trailer, man, this is going to be one of my favorites for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
I love how the Guardian characters were almost exactly alike. Like the box art picture and the original image. Like they fit all those types. The only thing they didn't get right was the Warlock. His hair was a little bit shorter. That's the only complaint I can make. The girl in the live action trailer looks exactly like the girl in the picture.
Yeah, I know. See, when I saw her, I was like, "Oh wait, they've been planning this for a while. That's the same actress." And then I saw the Titan, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not the same people."
It's close enough. Like he's pretty close.
Yeah,
but it was impressive. So hats off to those guys. They did a great job. They actually had a guy from a team that did the effects for this do a little short AMA on Reddit the day it came out. I don't know if you caught that. Just giving some kind of little tidbits about how they put it together and stuff, and how it was working with Bungie and Activision and everything. So it was interesting to read if you're into that sort of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah. So next up, they had PAX this weekend, which I know at least there was the video of Luke Smith had an hour interview. He was interviewed by somebody, I think, to kick off PAX, which I watched that last night. Couple little tidbits there that we'll bring up, one in specific, but they had in the TWAB a whole bunch of stuff they were going to have at the Bungie store. And they do mention that everything that was there is going to be going up on the Bungie store online, which is great. But they have some new stuff. Did you see some of the new shirts and some of the new swag?
Yeah.
So I got to give a really big shout out, same as last year, to our friend JH Sweeps.
Yep.
Joe Huber, who I sent him some money before this, and I said, all right, based on this, here's what I want. And he picked up everything I needed, and he's going to ship it to me. I'm pretty stoked.
Yep. I held off, dude.
Really?
He messaged me, and I was like, I did, man. I totally did. I held off. I'm like, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't want to have to, because a lot of the time the really desirable stuff sells out really quick online.
Yeah, super quick.
And that's why I was like, man, if I can get him to pick it up, I'd rather he get everything that I can't wait for and ship it to me for probably less than what the Bungie store ships it for.
Yeah, true. Very good point.
So he picked up a bunch of stuff for me. But all this stuff will be up online. This Shaq's "This Is Amazing" shirt I can't wait to put it on. Good stuff though. And then also Bungie got together with is it called Direct Relief, which is who they partnered up with for a couple years ago for the Nepal disaster that happened.
Like so long ago already.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 2-3 years ago now. And they are offering a new pin, which is like a series of hearts. And if you buy that, all profits are going to Direct Relief to support Hurricane Harvey aid efforts. So I picked up a pin. You get
an in-game emblem too, right?
Yeah, and you get an in-game emblem. It works similar to how the Bungie Foundation pin used to work. And I think this is maybe their new Bungie Foundation pin. So you'll get an in-game emblem. It's really cool looking. It's like bluish and it has some hearts on it and stuff. So I would encourage you, if you would like to help and also get something cool in real life and in the game, to go pick up one of these pins.
Yeah, for sure. Very neat stuff.
All right. Next
What else
up,
we got?
let's go to the important stuff here. They dropped some really important dates that we've been waiting to find out.
Oh my goodness, dude.
I'm glad they gave these to us, though. They're talking about in-game activities, END. And what we found out is that the Nightfall will be available immediately. So they say ready when you are. The Raid will open up September 13th at 10 a.m. And then immediately following that, Trials, September 15th at 10 a.m. So for a second, let's talk here about timing. So I think we got a little bit of a wish fulfilled with the Raid.
A little bit, yeah. There's
a little give and take here, right?
Yeah, they're giving you a full day of the second reset to prep.
Yeah, so we don't have to deal with trying to power level to play it on the first weekend. I think that's a big deal. They also gave us a day into reset. So if you want to do some reset activities and get some fresh rewards, you've got a whole day to do that. I think that's a big win, at least for me. The downside
it's good.
is the Raid opening up in the middle of the week.
Yeah, that stinks. I mean, I would have totally been fine with that. Closer to 2 weeks, maybe that Friday.
Yeah.
And then wait a whole nother week for Trials.
Well, I'm surprised that they're pushing out Trials this quick. But
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's no second class citizen anymore, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited, but I love Trials, and I didn't want to have that Friday
You didn't want
night,
to have that battle, did you?
That decision, yeah. So
I really, really want you to run the Raid blind, man. I want you to do it so bad.
I know.
I
actually thought about it this week. After we talked last week, I'm like, all right, maybe I should start assembling my team who wants to run a blind with me.
You got a tough decision.
I want to do that thing. I know. Dude,
I'm sorry.
I don't even... I mean, I love Trials, and I'm asking for delay it one more week.
Yeah, and this is going to be the weekend to play too, because it's going to be everybody out there.
It's like I tell myself I could just not play that weekend and just act like it. No, that's not possible.
You don't want to miss
I
the
can't
first
jump
Trials
in
of Destiny 2, right?
Weekend. Yeah, Destiny 2. Oh man, that's okay though. These are good problems.
Yeah,
these are
good problems. I mean, the stuff's coming back really quick, so I think that's a win. You know, there's going to be a little bit of a downside to that, but
that is definitely quicker than I thought we would see Trials. The Raid, it was a toss.
But the Raid, the Raid dropping on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. So I've been seriously contemplating putting together a world's first effort for the Raid. And the unfortunate problem is that now that it's dropping on a weekday, it really limits some of my regular teammates. So now I have to find a full team of people that could do it on a weekday and see if it can happen, So I don't have any commitments yet. People are trying to find out if they could take off work, and just I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
we'll find out. I guess
it is nice. I mean, it stinks that it's not a Friday for them or a Saturday, but it is nice that they
at least waited a week,
the
right?
following weekend. Yeah.
So that's good. It gives us that whole weekend to not relax as much, but to not have the pressure of having to be ready. Like, we can play all that weekend and play through the content, that first weekend.
Yep.
All right.
That's good stuff.
Next, let's talk about guided games. This is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting one.
So, where to start here? Guided games is going to be a limited access soft beta where only a select number of solo players will be able to use guided games for the Nightfall on September 12th. This will allow us to slowly ramp up players over the course of September and allow clan populations to grow so that everyone has a great experience. So it looks like they said 30 to 50% of players will be given Seeker access depending on clan participation in Destiny 2 during the first week. So they want to make sure that the clan support is there to guide players through the Nightfall specifically.
So the clans are fully, I guess, I don't know what the word would be. It's just the Seekers that are being kind of beta tested here, right?
All the clans will be able to guide players through games.
Bring people on, yeah.
And they're really encouraging people to be there to step up. And I think that, we want to make sure we're able to do that. But at least there's a full week after launch or a full reset that this feature will not be active.
Mm-hmm.
And then they mention September 26th at 10 a.m., the Nightfall and the Raid will be given 100% of players will be given Seeker access. So everyone won't be able to do that. So there's going to be, it looks like about 2 weeks that the Raid is live where people will not be able to access guided games for that feature.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it gives people a chance to go in, get to know the encounters and get good enough to actually guide people through.
Yeah.
And also maybe put the challenge up for players to try to do it on their own before they go looking for help, right?
Yeah.
So
this stuff that we don't even think about.
Yeah.
They have to think about.
Yeah, I didn't even think about this at all. But all right, next up, there was a little piece from Mark Noseworthy about decrypting engrams. He had put out a tweet. In D2, it's no longer advantageous to equip your most powerful gear when decrypting engrams. We check for your best possible loadout now.
This is cool, man.
How awesome is this?
This stuff we're so used to as Destiny 1 players. We would have all went and decrypted our engrams exactly the way we do. We did in Destiny 1. So, I mean, so this is like account-wide, right?
Yeah, it looks across your vault and all your characters when determining strength and puts together the best possible build, even factoring in exotics and things.
Yeah.
So there's two dynamics at play here that are somewhat different than what we're used to. The first one is that rewards determine their power at the time they're earned. So when an engram drops, it decides how powerful it is when it drops. Then, and it says also when we roll rewards, we look at your character's level and best possible gear to determine the power of the reward. So while the content of the engram is not decided, the power of the engram is when it drops.
Right.
And that's based on what your most powerful hypothetical power is when it drops for you.
Yeah.
Which is great. You don't have to worry about having a perfect power build when you kill a boss or something, Yeah.
Yep.
You can just be where...
Well, and then the immediate question is, what they address in the TWAB is, if they don't have a character that's at max level.
Oh, yeah.
Can they utilize power leveling that Guardian with this system? And they're like, nope. It also knows that you do not meet the level requirements.
Yeah, so it says kind of like if you're making another hunter, and so you've got a fresh hunter, will all my drops lay down stuff at the most powerful hunter level? And it says no, it's basing it on what that character can equip.
Yeah.
So there'll still be a grind as you level that player up for the best equipment, level wise at least. I don't know how level and light works 100%, but so this is interesting. But I like the way that they've made, gosh, can you think about how much time we've wasted going to the tower, trying to make sure your best gear's on when you decrypt. You remember that whole game during the Taken King you had to play so much work. So, man, that's going to make things just a lot more easy to play.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have to play that whole game. I remember before we all learned about that game, we were just spamming our blues.
Oh, I know.
It's don't do that.
Yeah.
Now we're going back.
All right, and then finally, talking about the launch, Destiny 2 has a midnight rolling release across the globe, and the time depends on what country you're in. So as soon as it's 12 a.m. anywhere in your country, that's when it goes live. So that's why in the US, when it goes midnight Eastern time, which is the first time zone in our country that goes to midnight, all the other time zones across the country go live at the same time. So it's 11 for Central, 10 Mountain, and then what, 9 Pacific.
So like I mentioned at the top of the show, my GameStop still does not know this, so we're still getting it at 9 Central time.
That's good. It's very good.
So
that was the bulk of the news. They had some stuff in old Destiny player support about preloading that you should probably check out. And then they talk a lot about security on all the consoles. They talk about real name security, Destiny account security. And then they were talking about some known issues with the Destiny companion app and some of the things that they know are going on. So if you want to check this out, read through it. We don't have enough time to cover all this, but definitely worth reading over so you know what you're dealing with. And then finally, the final movie of the week for Destiny 1. Congratulations to Bife, who got a lot of traction on this video. The complete Destiny timeline.
Yeah, didn't Kotaku even do an article on it? Wasn't it Kotaku?
And then YouTube Gaming featured it and stuff. So definitely worth checking out if you want to brush up on your Destiny 1 story. And they had some other cool videos as well.
Twab, dude. Last twab before a Destiny 2 twab.
So I was thinking of you when I saw this, but somebody put "My Heart Will Go On" to the Destiny live action trailer.
I almost tweeted that out and I never did. I was going to ask if you were secretly trolling me.
It was so perfect too. I mean, it was spot on.
Beautiful. For those of you that don't know, Cyborg would regularly stop by my stream and request Celine Dion.
Yeah, just different Celine Dion songs.
Yeah. So it was very fitting. I thought you were this user.
I had nothing to do with
an alt account and trolled me because it was great.
It wasn't me.
Oh,
it was good though.
Very good.
So that was that. Cosmo wrapped it up with a few well-spoken words to lead us into Destiny 2 once more unto the breach. So next TWAB we'll be talking about Destiny 2 proper.
Oh man. So close.
What other news do we have this week?
We got this week, didn't we get the What is Destiny 2 trailer they also released? Wasn't that after we recorded?
I think so,
last week? Yeah, that was kind of like more of an intro trailer probably for people that
who are not familiar.
Haven't really played the game. It was cool. Good though.
Stuff.
I liked it.
Yep.
Yeah. We got a really cool surprise of a 20-minute long video of Luke Smith answering random Twitter questions.
Right.
I was like, I had tweeted it out, and like I was drinking coffee when I was watching it, and I about spit it out in like the first 2 minutes. The dude cracks me up.
He's funny. He did a good job.
He's a funny guy. Yeah, it was really good.
The biggest little bit of information that is contrary to what we thought. I totally called this wrong. I'll put it out there. He mentioned that there's going to be a different, I guess, intro for Destiny 2 if you played Destiny 1. I guess the best way was you'll enter the world a little bit differently.
So now I got to wonder if I'm not going to bring one of my characters over.
Yeah.
So I can, or do I just wait till PC to experience that?
I don't know. I'm going to bring one of my existing into the first one. I just still haven't decided what class I'm going to play.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yeah, he also said too, because they told us, of course, we're getting rewards if you're some sort of rewards if you're a veteran Destiny 1 player. But he very specifically said, like, very much hinted towards, like, on day one, you veteran players will get something.
Yeah.
Like, more than what we've heard. So that like got me super amped.
I
don't know if I'm just looking into it too far, but I mean he put that vibe out very much so.
Yeah.
So
we'll find out.
That's really cool. I'm just wondering if it's going to be that classic, like log in, import your character, and then all of a sudden all these notifications start popping up.
That'd be funny.
This is a Destiny 1 veteran player account.
Can't wait to see.
Here's all the things.
Give them all the things. So in other news, and we're not going to talk about what this was, but there were some really, really big leaks.
Oh, man. Big
so apparently what's happened is somebody got the Prima strategy guide early and published it on Reddit. And so everything from story to gear to quests to characters to in between was published on the internet along with so apparently somewhere in the PC beta, people were able to extract audio files, and it's all the audio files from the game.
Like over 30,000 or something, I think I read.
And so a lot of story was spoiled for many.
Yeah. Dude, I instantly, like, I've been watching stuff up to this point, but then when it came to, like, as soon as any video I was watching mentioned audio files, and they were all very great at saying, okay, from this point on, spoiler warning, we're talking about audio files, or the strategy guide, I was like, click.
Yeah.
Done. I don't want any story spoilers. I want to be pretty much mostly surprised by exotics and all that stuff.
Right.
It was like, click away.
I had some stuff that I saw inadvertently in different places, like investigating into what this was that I wish I hadn't found out. But how disappointing is that for that to happen? I mean, geez.
Gotta do your best to avoid it at this point. We're so close.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
There's even a limit. There's even a limit to Cyborg and I's.
Yeah. Our curiosity it has boundaries. We want to find this stuff ourselves organically.
If of all things, I do not want the story details spoiled, anything like that. Like, okay, if I see an exotic, I didn't even watch that stuff with the exotics, but it's like the story I just want to experience, you know?
Right.
No thank you, audio files.
Yeah, so it's all out there if you want to get spoiled. Now, there's one thing that I let go, and something else that happened is someone got something. They got something that's in the collector's edition. I'm not even going to say what it is to not spoil it. But I did look at that because
I saw that. I saw that.
That is a thing that's not in the game, and that you are only going to see if you get the collector's edition, which I'm not getting until Wednesday, I guess, when it arrives at my house. And so I figure, okay, well, reading this or looking at this can't change my experience, only enrich it. So I did dive into that. Very cool, very interesting. That's about all I let go.
Yep. I'm with you on that one.
So did you check that out as well?
I did.
Okay.
I did, yes.
Yeah, that was the one thing I let go. I was like, I can make an exception for this. So, but yeah, so we're not going to be talking anymore about that stuff. Of course, next week, I think everything's up for grabs. So we'll have plenty to talk about next week.
Dude, we've got many hours of Destiny 2 to play.
I did go ahead and order the strategy guide today because I hadn't, and I wasn't sure what the value would be, but I did hear from people that it is a really cool book to have, especially if you collect. And I ordered it, but it's not coming in until like next week. So
I always like having strategy guides for like my favorite games, or if it's like a Fallout, it's like you can get everything off the internet, but I love just having that hardback book right in front of me with all the crafting and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but Destiny, we're Destiny nerds. We want anything Destiny.
Give it to us all.
Strategy.
Did you see the Ghost vinyls?
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is about my Target. I do not live in a small town. I mean, it's a decently pretty good sized town. And my Target, unless I have just not found the location they're putting the Destiny stuff in our store, which I've searched the internet and our stock, and it says we don't have it. But all I have finally are the little like lanyards and a Destiny hat. That's all that's in our Target.
Yeah,
right
my
now.
Target doesn't usually get a lot of this stuff either. And
like, what is going on?
So here's these items. Nobody even knew these were coming out, but it's like a $10 or $11 vinyl replica of a ghost about the size of your hand. And it's fabulous because it looks exactly like a ghost. How they haven't come out with something like this astounds me. But they finally did, and it's available only at Target in very limited quantity and was not supposed to be released until the 3rd. And people were getting them early off the shelves. And so I was able, here's what you have to do. Like, you can use Brick Seeker. There's a certain DPCI number. Here's the thing, though. That number is the same number as the Crota Pop. And so if you talk to a store associate, they're getting them confused because a lot of them are getting calls and getting asked about the Crota Pop, which the street date isn't till the 3rd, and wouldn't sell people. But if you say, oh, well, look, they have the same number, will you go look in the back and see if you have any? And I was able to get 2 that way. Nice. They sold them to me, but I had to like talk my way into it. Like,
nice.
I had to like explain things to people, like, and they're like, all right, I'll go check it out. I don't know if I can sell it to you though. And I'll be like, sure you can. So I was able to get 2 of them, and I kept one for myself, and I was giving another one away that I'm going to give out tomorrow on Twitter. Tomorrow being Monday.
Yeah, that was another thing I was going to mention earlier, talking about their strategy and their marketing with all of the trailers and everything. It may have taken them the full iteration of Destiny 1's life cycle, but they have figured out
the merchandising
fully that they can make some money off some Destiny merchandise.
Yeah, they did.
100%, which is great. More stuff for us to put on our shelves.
I'm going broke on all this stuff though, man.
I mean, that's part of it, man. It's like, I've got spending money, but I've got to like strategically spend it. There's just too much stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, holy smokes.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyways, moving on. In other news, why don't we talk about our sponsor?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Blue microphones.
Blue microphones.
Arrow and I at Destiny Reset Podcast use Blue microphone products for all of our audio. And that's just one of the mini mics that Blue creates, the old Blue Yeti. And they've actually sent us some upgraded mics that we'll be using soon, right?
Right.
Can't wait to try these out.
The Spark?
Yep, the Spark SL, is that right? But it's the Blackout Edition, which isn't even for sale yet. It's pretty sexy. But did you know they also have headphones? Blue's award-winning products are the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams and Twitch streamers. The Yeti USB mic is the internet's most popular microphone, and their MoFi and Lola headphones deliver totally insane sound and personalized fit. We've had our Lolas for, a year or so now?
Yeah, it's been about a year, I think.
And these things still work like they're right out of the box, super comfortable. And the way I have all my consoles and PC and everything set up now, everything comes through them. And playing games with these things, wow.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
They sound awesome.
Like these Lolas, dude, it's something about, they're just super comfortable, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 2, 3, 4 hours of recording and editing. Like my ears never hurt, man. And then you can tell, it's like the Xbox Elite controller when you have them on and they're made very nice.
Yeah, they are.
Like
they're high quality.
They're solid, very solid. Yeah.
So Blue offers everything you need to completely immerse yourself in the ultimate gameplay experience. If you want to learn more, go to bluemic.com. And then for our listeners only, you can save 20% on most of their products in their store by using the product code Destiny Reset. So 20% off if you want to pick up a pair of Lolas, a new mic, go plug it in.
Like 5%, guys.
Yeah, that's like $40 to $60, easily right there if you're going to pick up some Lolas that you could save. So use it. All right, man.
I think it's about time we bring on that doctor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we have a very special guest for you this week. The one, the only, DrLupo. Welcome to the show. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
It is a pleasure to have you. So, if somebody out there is just completely a hermit or been living in a cave or under a rock for the past 3 years, tell us a little bit about yourself so people can learn more about you.
So I am I'm a father, a big nerd, and a broadcaster on Twitch.
You could be on the show every week.
Exactly.
Check.
I've been playing Destiny for a long time, but before that, Destiny is not even remotely close to the beginning. I've been a gamer since I was old enough to hold a controller. My brothers, I have 3 older brothers. They got the NES, I think, in 1988. I believe that's the year it came out. Every opportunity to buy a new console, get a new game, Christmas or birthdays, every single time. That was our go-to,
Yeah.
And so I have people. Some people say, I just started playing games the last, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Dude, I'm 30. I've probably been playing video games for 25, 27 years, something like that. So, not well, mind you. And I might still not be playing them well. If we're being very honest with ourselves, I might still not be good at them. But I try. Okay, I try, man.
I think your definition of playing well is different than ours somehow.
Yeah, there's different tiers there.
There's conversations that go on in our Discord about, this one time I played DrLupo and just they were proud, that they got a hit on you or a trade maybe. So
yeah, just landed one bullet. It is funny that you say that though, or it's interesting because you do hear people say, "Yeah, I've been gaming for a couple years and I kind of stumbled across Destiny," but it's like I'm the same. Like I've been playing video games since I can remember. Like,
oh man,
like less than 5 with and then 5 to 10 playing flight simulators on PC. Like you're the same, Cyborg, right? Pretty much your whole life, yeah. Well,
luckily, my dad was enough of a nerd that he gave me PCs to play on when they were really hard to get and expensive and stuff. I mean, I was 8-year-old and had an IBM 386 or 486. Nobody had that when they were a kid.
Yeah,
I think I was the same way. Granted, maybe a different set of machines. Do you remember Gateway's E machines?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had an E machine when I was a teenager.
My brother Aaron, the second oldest, had a 500 megahertz Pentium 3,
Pentium 2 or 3.
Pentium 2 or 3. And that was actually, we were just talking about that on stream tonight. Somebody had asked when I first started playing PC games, like shooters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Rainbow Six Rogue Spear was my first. Back when GameSpy was the go-to service for matching and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. GameSpy is
I
crazy.
remember those days.
And so playing shooters like that kind of I think started my foray into being as competitive as possible. Which I think everybody that plays PvP nowadays still plays PvP in Destiny 1 because the game's been out for so long that only the really hardcore players that are left are the people that you queue against in there are probably brand new, don't play a whole lot, might be trying to finish a quest or a bounty or something like that, or there's the really hardcore players left. But I think at least on PC or maybe shooters in general, Rogue Spear was probably the start of my I want to get really good at shooting other people on the internet. That was the start of it right there.
Those old Rainbow Six games, you could it seemed like the worlds were huge. You could just be way out sniping on some of those different iterations of the Rainbow Six games. Yeah. I always had to squeeze in the consoles too growing up. I leaned more towards the consoles unless I was playing Age of Empires or a flight simulator. I was figuring out fatalities in Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo and stuff.
Not too long after that though, Halo. I played Halo 1 a bit. I didn't have an original Xbox until Halo 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember playing much else after that game's release. When something comes out that you're really, really into, and you're just like, I need to play this. I have to. That was it, man. Halo 2, and then Halo 3, of course, and then so on through college and all that. That actually was probably that's how I made a lot of my friends in high school and college too. Because the school that I went to, when you get really, really good at a game and you think you're the best at the game. And, for me, this was in high school, and you just I go over to like somebody's place and they've got all these Xboxes hooked up and they're playing, they're landing Halo. You kill, it's like everybody. Nobody stands a chance. And you have this feeling of, man, I'm so good at this game. And you go to college and you realize that, man, I'm really bad at this game. And everybody's way, because suddenly like the scope of players you play against on LAN is so much bigger.
Yeah,
and gotta reevaluate your
everything I thought about myself is a lie. Everything kind of changed. When the school that I went to in Omaha, the dorm I was in, so there were 2 wall jacks in the wall. They're Ethernet, right? There was one that was like the outside, get to the internet Ethernet. And there's the other one that they called the Blue Network, and it was a LAN setup through the entire building. So 8 floors. And per floor, there's probably 34 rooms, something like that, and two kids per room. We were exposed to suddenly like this big LAN infrastructure and actually 2 of the buildings connected to each other too. So you could be playing people in a different dorm.
That's awesome.
And we'd hook up your Xbox, you'd pull up Halo 2, and you'd look for a local game, and there'd be like 4 or 5 in there. You just jump in and start playing with people. That's how I met. It's a funny story. So I get it. First day, my freshman year of college, plug in my Xbox, and I jump into a game. And there's a guy named Church who is in the lead. It's like a free for all to 50 or something like that. And there's like 6 or 7 other players in this game. And I get in, and I just start whooping butt, right, killing every single person. And I end up winning that game. And I hear someone yelling in the hallway. Goes to the RA. For our floor, Kevin, and I hear him yelling. He comes over to my room. Apparently, when he had been killed by DrLupo, he had gotten really frustrated because I ended up beating him because he had a huge lead. And he goes to our RA's room and says, "Who's DrLupo? Do you know?" And he's like, "Well, there's the guy that lives across the hall from you, Ben. His last name is Lupo. It's probably him." He's like, "All right," and stomps down the hall, slams, pounds on my door, and I'm like, "Hello? Yeah, what's up?" And he opens the door, and he's like, "Are you DrLupo?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, and then just closes the door. And I was in his wedding like a year ago now.
Wow.
Jared, he's a super funny guy, one of my best friends, and like so Halo kind of sculpted the group of friends that I got really close with in college, and it brings back so many memories. I've told that story on stream before, so anybody that watches my stream that's listening to this now, y'all will get you'll get a chuckle out of that, because I'm sure people remember me talking about that.
That's a good one though.
Yeah,
that's classic gaming story. Your best friends.
Halo really started that kind of. It set up a lot of my friendships, because at the same time, I went to school for computer science and web development. And so I had a local an IT job there, fixing the student laptops and computers and stuff like that, and telling people to stop downloading naughty stuff and the usual. And that kind of transition. So I had the video game thing going on, as many of us do, as everybody that listens to this podcast does, as a hobby at least, and I had the IT thing going at the same time because I was going to school for it. Eventually, I got a job actually at PayPal right out of college. I think I spent maybe 2 months unemployed, which is way better than a lot of my friends did.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Because right out of college, either you have something lined up or you have to dig for it, and sometimes when you have to dig for it, it can take quite a while. And I felt pretty bad for some of my friends who were like stuck in crap jobs for a long time until they finally got something, which is. It's cool when they do, but you feel really bad. But I got pretty lucky. I worked at PayPal on the weekends, wearing sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt, and moving computers around. That was like basically my thing, was moving people's desks when they were transitioning from one desk to another. So I did. It was a low paying IT. Did you turn it on and then off and then back on again kind of job? And I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that style of job. It's not fun. But it paid the bills, right?
Yep.
After that, I ended up switching to a company that shall remain nameless because they ended up facing a bunch of like debt, and I didn't know this when I got a job there. Before anybody's like, "Yo, you supported that?" They were really bad with their money. They wasted a lot of money, and they had like some lawsuit against them from Iowa or something, some class action lawsuit that I didn't know about. And after about a year, they changed names to avoid. This is really shady talking about it, I'm sure, but they changed names to avoid like the negative reputation. It was They still had the really low credit rating. It was like a D or something, which is the worst you can get. It was bad, and I ended up leaving there and going to an insurance company to do IT stuff. Maybe 2 months before the company folded entirely.
Wow.
So I jumped ship at just the right time.
Sounds like it.
I stayed there for a while, and that's around when Destiny happened. So Destiny came out.
Well, that's our man. You are quite the segue. You're gonna intertwine right into our next question. What brought you into Destiny?
This is not my first rodeo, my friend.
No.
I'm glad we gave him the notes.
So when Destiny came out, let's back up just a tiny bit. Before Destiny came out, they had teased it, if you remember, in what was the
ODST?
ODST. The advertisements on the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
You could see the Earth with the little circle above it, and you're like, what is that thing? What's going on there? And people had started to figure some stuff out, and then they started like doing teasers and all that. And I initially was not super locked in. I was like, okay, cool. Bungie's doing something. It's not Halo, though, so will I even like it? Probably not. I'm just making these stupid assumptions before I knew anything. And then I started watching some of the stuff. I started I started giving in and paying attention because I know me. I've been playing Bungie games since Pathways into Darkness. Marathon 2, Durandal, Marathon Infinity, the Myth games. I played as many of them as I could get my hands on. I played them because I loved Bungie games. But I had been hooked by Halo in such a way that I think I had a fear of being let down or something. It wasn't Master Chief. I wasn't gonna have my BR. The usual things, the stuff I got comfortable with, and I was afraid of change. But eventually, I started watching stuff, and then I got extremely excited. The same feelings I'm having right now for Destiny 2, maybe even more so now.
It was way more of a mystery then.
Exactly. We didn't know what we were getting.
Yeah.
Now, around the same time, there was this big rumor of a content rewrite, right? So that was another thing that wasn't helping my skepticism, but I went along with it anyway. And the game came out. I did the midnight release thing and stayed up super late and played, and I think I missed work. I called into work sick the next day, and the very truthful, honest, totally not skipping work to play video games. No, of course not. I would never do that. Kind of things that we say to our bosses. And so I stayed home and played, and it was a ton of fun. And I had a couple friends and my brother who played, but they weren't very serious PvPers. So quite often I would be queuing for PvP solo. But that wasn't a big deal because that's how I ended up meeting some of my friends. But this was still the first 1, 2, 3, the first couple months of the game's release. And then I met up with a couple buddies through my friend Brian, Ninja with Noel, who I met through PvP, through Skirmish. We actually got matched on the same team randomly and won like 10 games in a row. And so I was like, hey, you want to be friends on Xbox Live? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I met a bunch of his friends. And we yeah, let's do it. I met a bunch of his friends that he had already made from previous games. And I hadn't been like super after trying to get world first or anything like that, so I hadn't done Vault of Glass yet. And he was like, "Hey, we need one more. Do you want to play?" I was like, "Sure, absolutely." So we got in and we destroyed. VOG was, I have fond memories of Vault of Glass the first time because Ninja and I would have competitions to see who could get more kills per section, you know, because they're like, if you die and it resets, it'd show you who had the higher kill count and stuff.
Yeah.
And we would we would constantly be fighting for first. He probably won more often than I would like to admit, but I will say for public record, it was about even. All right.
Yeah. For public record.
For public record. And then Trials of Osiris showed up.
What a game changer.
And this sounds like my story.
This turned everything on its head, man. Everything on its head. So we had read about it, and they had talked about how it was going to work and all this stuff, and we were thinking to ourselves, in our little circle of people, like Vox and Icon and Ninja and myself and a couple other people, and we were like, we could probably help people do this, right? But how, and how are we going to get it? We could stream it. And Ninja's like, I got a Twitch account. I thought to myself, I have a Twitch account too, but I don't ever use it for anything. At that point, up until that point, I maybe watched a stream one time and was like, this is stupid. I'm not doing, what is the point of this? Whatever. I don't get it. That's fine. I don't have time for this. I'm too busy raiding and WoW and maybe playing some Destiny and that kind of stuff. So Brian Ninja decided to stream. And he's like, I'll try, we could get an audience. And there was a subreddit that we posted to, Lighthouse Sherpas at the time, now Crucible Sherpas.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, we're out here. We're trying to, we're going to run people through and all that. And you don't have to do anything. At the time, the first week, we were like, donations will have priority. We were one of those guys because it didn't matter at the time. We were like, donations, if you want to donate, tip Brian, because the whole focus for me was Ninja really wanted to see if he could make Twitch a thing, because he had streamed for a while before that and gotten pretty popular on a different game. I think one of the Battlefield games, Battlefield 2, maybe.
Okay.
But then it kind of died off because he got bored of the game. So I was like, okay, well, I can stream too, and if people want to watch both POVs, it's just a way for me to boost your viewership, and I could throw my name out there too. And so we started doing it because the first week was just so easy, because it was the population,
huge population,
was super high,
yeah, and
it was connection based. It was almost like entirely connection based. So you would queue against anybody, and because we were so good, it was just a cakewalk. And very quickly, when you don't put a limit on the minimum for donation priority, you get overwhelmed. And so after the first week, we had like a list of 45 people to run, and we were like, we can't do this. This feels crappy. We both basically at the same time decided, you know what? We don't want to do this anymore, so we're not gonna. So now, you can donate, you can, tip us if you want to, but it's not gonna get you anything because we don't want to be those people. I didn't want to promote that. Brian agreed with me. I don't want to promote that. It's not, you already paid for trials. You don't have to pay again for trials. You bought the game. So why are we making you pay again? It's dumb. So we stopped doing that. We finished out the list of people that had tipped up to that point under the notion that they were going to get a run. And then we just started pulling from chat randomly. And the entire purpose of my stream was still to boost his numbers. And then something very sad happened for Brian. He didn't do enough pre-work, we'll say, to land a good housing spot when he went off to school. So he ended up in an apartment that could only get DSL.
Oh man!
And if you try and stream on DSL, it looks like a series of slow loading, poorly rendered JPEGs. And man, it was so bad. If he wasn't streaming, he could still play for the most part. He would get disconnected occasionally, which was frustrating for him, I'm sure, and it was frustrating for us too. But you could still make it work. So I was like, okay, well, in order for people to not forget that you exist, I guess I need to keep my stream going. And then when you're back, you can figure out a better internet situation, after the semester's over. So I had 2 semesters, basically 9 months of me streaming and him not really being able to stream. very much, or at least not reliably. And that is kind of the start of where Twitch became a thing for me.
Nice.
I played almost exclusively Hunter, and Hawkmoon became a meme at first because nobody else could seem to use it, really well, and I was able to start. I was able to beat people up with it pretty accessibly. So there's actually here, if anybody out there that's watching, if you know about Kakal, make sure you reply to when they post the tweet. When I post the tweet for this podcast, find it, hit reply, just reply with Kakal. I want to see how many we can build up on.
I remember that.
There's a shirt, there's the emotes for it. It got pretty crazy, and then they kept gutting the gun.
I know.
And they kept nerfing it, and I was sad. I would just sit and cry before I went to bed every night because they made it completely trash, and that was really disappointing. But
they tried to bring it back a couple times.
They tried, and then one time it was too much. So they said, no, listen, we messed up. We're gonna go ahead and nerf it again. Sorry about that.
It's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh yeah,
pretty much every gun that's ever been like, the primary in a meta, or was just considered quote unquote OP. They never just knock its legs out and say nope. It's like one at a time. Like they cut off your arm, and then your leg, and then your eyes, and before you know it, it's worthless. But it's been 6 months of death,
We've it's been many episodes, but we had Ninja on the show quite a while back.
Yeah.
And I can imagine, I mean, I've watched you guys, but you two running around and him on his Titan, and I'm sure especially those first few weekends were pretty trivial for you guys.
It was all smiles pretty much the whole time.
Sunshine and roses, huh?
The first time it was Widow's Court, I think it was the first time, we went on a 160-something game win streak. At first, without even really realizing it, because we were doing runs at the same time. And when we got to like 60 or 70, somebody in chat was like, "You realize you guys haven't lost in like 10 cards, right?" I'm like, "Wait, what? Really? We should try and make this a thing." So we picked up Ramblin' at that point and just kept going and going and going and going. It was pretty nuts. So yeah, I mean, as far as Destiny goes, getting into Destiny, it was because I've been a long time Bungie fan that it was hard for me to say no and shy away from at least trying it. And boy, did they hook me real quick with the chase for shiny purpley loot, man. I need it. I need more. And then, because of because if it weren't for Destiny, Twitch wouldn't have ever become a thing. And if it weren't for Brian's poor choice in housing, my stream probably would not have taken off in the way that it did initially. And I must say, like, that we could go on about Twitch in general for a while. And there's one thing in particular that I get asked a lot from people that come to stream that are trying to work. Maybe you just got your affiliate status. Maybe you're working on trying to get partnered. Maybe you haven't even started yet, but you're looking into it. And I would love to take something that Summit has said. Summit's a good dude. I've had the opportunity to play with him in the Destiny 2 console beta, and we've talked on and off through Twitter. But if you're trying to get big on Twitch, you have to have three things. Three things that factor into it. All right. One is you have to be really good at the game. That you don't have to, but that's like one of the factors. If you're really good, you've got one of the three things.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are very funny or entertaining in some way, whether it's Dr. Disrespect and the character that Guy Beam created. I'm sorry, Dr. Disrespect is a real person. My apologies to anybody from Slick Daddy Club out there. My bad. No, but that's number two.
Ruin the illusion.
Number three.
Wait, what?
Number three is you have to be very engaging with your audience. If you have all three of those things, if you have one of those things, you'll do okay on Twitch. If you have two of them, you're gonna do pretty dang good on Twitch. If you have all three, you're gonna blow up. But then there's a fourth thing that you can't plan for, and that's luck.
Secret sauce.
It's luck. It is.
Yeah.
It's 100% luck. Because there's a couple things that have fed into where my stream has gone. One, the very start is Brian. If it were not for his internet being just awful, Brian, if you listen to this, dude, it was just so bad. If you don't stream on DSL, folks, just don't do it, please. It's not good for anybody.
When we interviewed him, he failed to mention his poor choice in housing and internet. He knows. No. So that was the first one, and then I got matched up with Ramblin' at the beginning of this what was Dark Below. The very first week of the second, we'll call it, year of trials. Brian wasn't around because of school, and Ramblin' was in the Crucible Sherpa subreddit looking for someone to run with, and I was like, hey, we've never played together, sure. Apparently we had matched up against him in year one and like 5-1'd him or 5-0'd him and his team because he was playing with two friends who don't play very much. But I don't remember that, of course, so I feel like a jerk. But we were like, okay, let's play together. And during that first day of us playing together is when a clip called "The Last Word Will Never Die" that Ramblin' put on his YouTube that exploded on Reddit is the second bit of luck for me because I died, the person we were running with died, and Ram was running Night Stalker. I think he had a longbow or something and his last word before this was actually right after it had been nerfed with the Dark Below's release. So people were like, yo, this gun's terrible. And he ended up getting 9 kills in a single round, but the Reddit thread that had been posted with the link to the video, everybody was talking about the dude that was doing callouts.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, Raylan, you're crazy good. You're like the best player we've ever seen. We will give you that. But can we talk about the dude that sounds like he works for air traffic control?
I remember the comments talking about that. Like, it was a thing.
And so after that went up, everybody, my stream was exploding with people that are like, dude, your voice is crazy. Like, and the funny thing was, I was on a wireless piece of crap Logitech headset because my old stream setup, I sat cross-legged on the floor in front of my couch with a coffee table in front of me because I played keyboard and mouse through Zim, and I sat across the room. So if I leaned to the right, maybe a foot, it got robotic and broke up and stuff. And if the battery was starting to get low, like I had to charge it and plug it in over there, I sat across the room from my stream computer and so I was like, this is just the way that the mic sounds. It was terrible, but people, I don't know, it caught on and people enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love that our community's like, they're watching a clip of dude just absolutely wrecking, and
he was destroying.
And the comments like, you that guy you hear that dude that's talking?
In that clip, it was on Bannerfall. I count down. I was like 3, 2, 1 for a dude jumping up into a window that was going to get a flank on him. Yeah. Ram didn't even look to the side because as soon as I said 1, he turns to the side, pulls the snipe out, and domes the kid as soon as he jumps in, and then just goes back to paying attention to what he was already doing. It was like you just couldn't. The stars aligned. Everything worked out perfectly for that clip, and that was one of the things that it was one of the next stepping stones of luck that helped me with Twitch. And now I've got, and I was on Crucible Radio, that helped a ton. I had an opportunity to talk about the Zim with them and kind of put some of my opinion about how it works and whether it's unfair or not out there, and just the general functionality and show people what I was doing, and that caught on. And even most recently, since I've been playing a lot of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I ran into the Halo professional turned Battle Royale professional player Ninja, Tyler, randomly in a game. I'm running up on a building. It's a 2-story garage building with a little roof access and stuff. And I saw a dude running up there. And so I was like, okay, he's going to go up top. I'll just wait a second. He goes up top. He's facing away from me. So I step out in the open. I chuck a grenade. And I cooked it perfectly to where on his screen, the grenade hits him like in the forehead and explodes. And from that, he actually says right afterwards, because people clipped it in his stream and brought it over to mine. We're like, yo, you just killed Ninja. Here's his POV, and I watch it. And he says, you don't get any luckier than that. And it's funny because that clip is what has now gotten me to play with people like Dr. Disrespect, Tim the Tatman. I know a number of professional players now because of that one thing. The number of people that, like, the scope of the people that know that I exist is exponentially larger now than it was before because of one grenade that I decided to cook just right, and I hit just the right player at just the right time. It scares me to think about it, because if that grenade hadn't happened, I don't know how different things would be right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All down to a single grenade.
Yeah, I know that
Seriously.
every major broadcaster I've ever spoken with have always told me how much luck played into their career and how, lucky they feel and how thankful they are for the breaks that they got. And at least the ones that are humble enough to admit that,
I know very well that I owe 99% of my success thus far to everyone else but me. I've just been trying to be myself, and sometimes I get frustrated, and sometimes I laugh about stupid stuff, and sometimes I make very inappropriate jokes.
That would be where all your fans would come in, and
exactly,
and they would balance you out on that, though, because they would tell you why they watch you.
We shouldn't overlook, though, the amount of work it takes to be there to receive that luck, though, because if you're not there and you're not working every day at it, you don't get those opportunities.
I think right now with this job, so my previous job, things have changed a lot. Before this, I was working as a senior systems engineer for an insurance company, coding the automation and deployment of virtual machines in our corporate environment. I took a 200 plus step process that involved 50 different people for building one virtual machine, and turned it into one button click for the user and 30 minutes of waiting, and that's it. Me and one other guy, Bill, my coworker at the time, because he was like the Linux guy, I was the Windows guy, and I did a lot of the automation coding stuff.
Did you work yourself out of a job? That's what it sounds like.
Well, somebody's got to maintain that.
Yeah.
Somebody has to maintain that. So no matter what, I still had the keys to the virtualization automation castle were all still locked up in my head, because I just hadn't had time to write down any of the code and how things worked. And luckily Bill was super smart, and so he paid tons of attention. He paid very close attention, because as time went on with the broadcasting side, eventually it got to the point where my wife and I looked at it and said, okay, if we wanted to make a big life change, where would you need to be to do that? How many subscribers? What's your average viewership? That kind of stuff. Where would we need to be to make that change? And so before my 30th birthday, we had a very serious conversation. I said, we decided, she was 100% on board. She has been, let me just say real quick, Mrs. Dr. LuPo, my wife, Samantha, she is a unbelievable supporter of everything that I've done so far, and she is always pushing me to try harder and to do more and to go after my dream. So before anybody out there is like, well, you probably just no, this is 100% a partnership. We are a team, and she, because we are both largely invested in me somehow maintaining whatever this level of success is, or growing it in a non-destructive, non-sellout kind of method, because I don't want to ever be that kind of guy, but yeah, she's been huge. But we decided that now's the time, because I am of the opinion that I only get one chance to live this life, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to go after this one chance. And I made that known to my old job, and they were sad to see me go, but I text Bill every once in a while and say, yo, how are things going? And actually it's funny, based on one of your other questions in the interview here, we have a safety word where we had a safety word where if we were at work and we were doing something and we had a coworker that we weren't a huge fan of at the time, if he did or said something stupid, we would IM each other the word pineapple. And as like, please help me with this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to this guy. And so I'll still text him every once in a while, just the word pineapple, and he'll reply just laughing his butt off because he thinks it's funny. But I left there and decided that literally on my 30th birthday to tell everybody that we made the decision for me to transition to a full-time broadcaster on Twitch.
How have things been different since you took that step? Because that's a pretty big step.
I wake up in the morning. I don't put pants on. I get my coffee, and I come downstairs and I sit at the best job I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It was terrifying at first. Terrifying. Because
I can't imagine doing it if I were in the position that the amount of stress I would have associated with that decision would be, with kids, that's what makes it hard. You guys are raising a family, and geez.
I want Charlie to have the best opportunity, the best life I can possibly provide for him. Yeah. And when I made the transition, I had 1,000 less subscribers than I have right now. Mm-hmm. That in itself, it hasn't even been a year. It's been 6 months, and I've doubled it. I made the right choice.
Yeah.
I 100% made the right choice, and I couldn't have known that back then.
Right.
That thing that people would be so open to supporting what I'm doing, and we've had opportunities at charity stuff, and I did the Make-A-Wish thing in January, and Guardian Con was incredible in $67,000 in 4 hours for my block. Blew my mind to a point. It didn't surprise me though, because I know the people that I've tried to, that are in the community that we have built together, and they're very giving, and they're very caring, and they're very generous, and they're way too nice. And I think that says a lot about 99% of the Destiny community in general. Because I've seen things on Reddit, I've seen things on the Bungie forums, I've seen things on Twitter and YouTube about people having issues and people coming together to help them. I've seen all sorts of stuff. And I can't imagine any group of individuals other than the Destiny community doing stuff like what we've done.
Right. It
blows my mind.
We've talked about it many times. There's so many smaller communities out there, like the Derp fam, just times however many. And then, like you said, you take it as the Destiny community as a whole. And sometimes to even have those moments to where you sit back and do that with a game and a gaming community that you're involved in, there is definitely something there to have those moments where you're like, this community is unbelievable. Like it's amazing that a gaming community is, I don't know, there's just no words for it. I mean, we've all said it and we've all realized it, and it really is something else. But it's really neat, to wrap back around that, you thought that decision out, and like you said, you had one, you've got an opportunity to be a full-time streamer and do your thing and have fun, and your community supports you, and then you intertwine that Destiny community we talk about into it, and I can only imagine like you're probably having a blast. So,
I am. It's my dress code has definitely changed. Going to work in shorts and a t-shirt is pretty nice every single day, not gonna lie.
Hopefully some of, if you had some of the anxiety has drifted away now that you can see that it was definitely the right decision.
It did. I'm far more comfortable now than I was 6 months ago with this, and hopefully I'm only more comfortable 6 months from now too. By the time I turn 31, if there's some question of if I look at it and say, did I really do the right thing? It would surprise me. It would surprise me.
Well, I think it's safe to say with the success that you've had so far, which has been over a period that if you're a Destiny player, has been very rocky and tough soil to grow in. And we're coming into the biggest release of the next 3 years, give or take. I think you're in a great position. You're in an excellent position. If you can't do better here, Lupo, I don't know what to tell you.
I just want to be able to provide people with somewhere that they can hang out and not feel like somebody is judging them, not feel like I don't want people to feel like a number or an object or a means to an end. That's one thing that makes me sad about some other people's streams. I'm not naming anybody in particular in Destiny. I just mean I've been in streams in the past where I feel like I would be, if I were a viewer there, I'd be a target for making money, and I don't ever want people to feel like that's what I'm trying to get out of them in my stream. I just want people to find somewhere to chill and watch me do stupid stuff in video games and laugh about it. That's it, dude.
I'm sure that's what goes hand in hand with your success. We would share, I'm sure there's listeners out there that haven't jumped into your stream and probably will after this. But what I was going to say is we would tell the Derp fam to go support you, but they probably already are, because as soon as we said you were coming on the show, yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's the same with our community in the Derp fam, man. It's all about welcoming. Come in, have a good time, let's play. And I feel like if you have that vibe and you're chill like that, and we get iTunes reviews a lot of times that say, like, you just sound like a couple of chill dudes that just play the game and talk about it. Yep. It's like, yep, that's pretty much it. Yeah. that's what we do. Yep. So, I mean, what I'm saying, basically, if you have that vibe, people love that, and that's, I mean, it's clearly goes hand in hand with the success you've had. So people really enjoy that.
I think being grounded makes a big difference for people.
Yeah.
In as far as accessibility and engagement.
I owe that, I think, in large part to my son too. Honestly, my son and my wife are they remind me that I'm not famous. I'm just a guy, and I have to go change this diaper right now. And hopefully I don't get poop under my fingernail.
Yeah.
And and I still gotta. I didn't take the trash out yet. I gotta go clean out cat litter boxes and.
You flat out could be a third co-host of this podcast, especially if you add to this statement, in about 20 minutes, you're going to need to step away because your kiddo woke up or something.
Right.
Then you're going to fit right in, dude.
It's funny you say that. He actually is not sleeping too well tonight. So my wife, when I was upstairs earlier getting water, she's like, you have to make sure you're very quiet because if you wake him up, I swear I will. I was just like, okay, no, it's fine. I'm quiet. It's fine. So
we hear you on that.
I recently taught him how to say the word fart, by the way, which is a big thing right now. And it's oddly enough, it's a big thing in my stream because they're like, you can like cheer on Twitch or whatever. One of the alerts for the cheers is actually recording of him saying the word fart because I don't know why. I just thought it would be very funny. And so people think it's stupid and hilarious. I posted, if you pull up my Twitter, we'll get to that in a little bit. If you pull up my Twitter later, I posted a video today of him saying fart back to back because I encouraged him to say fart. I taught him the word fart, and my wife hates it. So,
hey,
it's a hit, man.
Being a dad,
I had
being
to.
a dad.
It's a big meme right now.
It is. It's
invest
on the internet,
in Lupo fart. If you're on the meme stock market.
Great.
Earlier, you brought up an interesting word, pineapple. People need to know, because this is a very controversial topic for our community. It has been for a while. Do pineapples belong on pizza, Dr. Lupo?
How dare you even suggest something like that? Now, okay, for really though, some people do enjoy it, some people don't. It's just it's a weird taste combination to me. I can see why you would like it, but
I can't.
If you bring that in my house, I will flip it onto the sidewalk, tell you to clean it up, and tell you to get off my property. So
I can't do that, man. My wife loves it.
Really?
But
throw it on the ground.
It's funny because I think our listeners in the Dirt Fam are going to start thinking when we message someone to come on the show, it's, hey, do you want to come join us? And do you like pineapple pizza? And if you answer that wrong, then you don't join us.
Here's a little
something came up, we can't have you on the show.
A little history. DestinyCon, when it was DestinyCon, so this is 2 years ago.
Yeah,
pineapple pizza was a big, kind of controversial topic. And I went over to what we call the Derp Mansion, which is a bunch of the community were all staying at one house, and I went over there and hanging out. They had pineapple pizza, and I literally went in and I threw it on the ground outside, and it became a big deal. And so this year at GuardianCon, we volunteered to eat pineapple pizza as a part of a charity stream that was partially to pay for one of our members to get to the thing, and then the rest of the money went to Era, who did they donate to?
Stack Up?
Stack Up, yeah. Yeah. So we had to eat pineapple pizza at the Dirt Mansion this year.
It's fully documented. Yeah.
But what would really, I don't want to talk about it. It's traumatic. What would really go hard is that next year, if I could get you to just pop into the Dirt Mansion and together we all throw pineapple pizza on the ground, I think it would be a big deal.
Team pineapple pizza.
I'm going to talk to you about that next year.
You bring it up. Remind me.
I will.
Remind me.
I think that people
just
would love it.
It would be even more funny if you just walked in, did that, and then left.
Didn't say anything.
That's what I did.
Don't say anything.
That's what I did.
I was like, bye.
Like I had left and I came back to do that, and I just did it, and then I left, and I think it made a big impact. You really got to, stand your ground, man.
You have to.
With stuff like this. Well, there was a big announcement this week that we can't gloss over here.
There was.
Tell us about playing professional Destiny.
Oh, man. So, GuardianCon. We played in the tourney. I was told by a lot of people, this is not my opinion, I'm just reiterating, we were told by a lot of people that we were the crowd favorites, and then some. And I will tell you this, in front of 4,000 people, hitting a slide snipe on, I believe it was Van Werven, to start that tourney play was one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me in my life. Oh, man, it was so awesome, because the crowd went nuts! Dude, I couldn't hear anything in game because they were so loud, and I loved it.
Yeah.
The crowd, it was just so great hearing the reactions live like that.
So afterwards, and I had been talking to this person a little bit beforehand too. Her name is Lauren. She goes by Glitter Explosion on Twitter. She was employed by Luminosity Gaming. She was one of the managers for a number of their battle royale teams, and she had been putting it in her, her CEO's ear. Basically saying, hey, Destiny 2 is going to be on PC, and there's a big crowd that really likes watching this game. They like watching the competitive side of this game. We need to build a team. And she had been pushing on them for a while, and she finally got an opportunity in person to approach a number of us there, and she came to me and said, hey, you have a couple minutes to talk. We had been talking about talking for a little while before that on Twitter. When we went in a side room and we sat down for what was supposed to be like 15 minutes and ended up being like 45. I told you before, I'm very long-winded. And we were talking about professional Destiny. And she said, I'm trying to put together a team for Luminosity Gaming for Destiny 2 at launch so that we can try and push the competitive esports side of this game to become a thing. There's nothing official yet, but would you be interested? And without hesitation, I said, yes, of course, absolutely. This sounds amazing. Because I've never been attached. I was never part of like BSK or IM or Tier 1 or Primal or any of those teams, those communities, driven teams that exist right now. Mm-hmm. I've never been part of one of those because I was never like super into the scene. I played with friends and did okay, but I was never at home because it was never on PC. It's never native keyboard and mouse. I was always playing through a gimmick basically, and yeah, it felt pretty dang good. But if it was native, obviously things would have been different. And so she said, we know that you play PC games a lot. We know that you play through a Zim, and actually. Incidentally, one of the other guys that is on the team, Droptacular, also played through a Zim. But they were like, we know you're good. You're working through this limitation right now, and so we're not worried about that. and we had the conversation, but then nothing ever really played out for a while. And eventually, we found out that it was because Lauren was moving to Rogue. Steve Aoki is one of the big backers for that team.
Yeah.
They have arguably one of the best Overwatch teams in the world right now. They play a bunch of other games too, CS:GO and Rocket League and stuff. They've got a really good group of people as far as who is signed with Rogue and who is working on the back end. But she went to Rogue. She changed jobs essentially and brought it up to them. They're like, yeah, absolutely. In fact, we want to get in on this before anybody else. We want to be the first team, the first esports organization to have a Destiny team, a professional team. And so they brought on 6 of us, myself, Droptacular, War Bulletproof, Extremism, Flanker, and Lil Sonic, and formed the first professional Destiny team. Now, there's no... Before Destiny 2's release, there has been no official esports, MLG, UMG, ESL. There's no big tourney scene. Everything has been community driven. Everything has been online, and
right.
There's rumors and stuff that I don't know what's true and what isn't, but for the time being, it'll continue to be that way. My hope is that eventually, especially because Rogue went in and said, listen, we actually want to sign and pay players for Destiny right now before there's even a scene. Other teams, we hope, like Luminosity and FaZe and Optic, we hope they start doing the same thing, because as more esports organizations get invested, there's more and more of a chance that MLG or UMG, ESL, somebody out there is going to say, listen, we hear you and we're going to do something official. Yeah. Now, there's no private matches at release,
right,
which we knew, and obviously Rogue knew, but it's coming probably pretty quickly, because it would surprise me if, since the game is built on a similar engine, that they could not just do similar things. Now, I fully admit I don't know what the coding backend looks like, but since I have a little bit of experience on that side with my previous job, I kind of know, how some of the stuff works. It should be, I would bet by the first DLC release that they should be able to put it in there.
Well, Luke Smith he's said in an interview at the DRE that they expect and their goal is to have it live before the first DLC.
Yeah.
And that they are also working on customs, as a rumor. So hopefully that's the case, because that would be...
I desperately hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a big deal for everybody.
The fact that an esports organization is getting monetarily invested in Destiny is a good sign for everyone.
Right.
Now, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and a lot of stuff, on Reddit and all over the place. Some people are like, oh, keep your esports out of our Destiny. I understand that. I believe me, I do. My hope is that Bungie, if it does get accepted and, it becomes a part of the scene and something does start to grow there, my hope is that Bungie is smart enough to recognize that there can be a separation between the casual players and the people that are really serious and want to play, highly competitive and stuff like that. Because I don't want to ruin anybody's game, but I love Destiny in a competitive way, and I think it has a place as an esport, because it's doing things with the way the game operates, the way the game feels, that other games aren't doing. It's not. It has a little bit of customization to it that something like Halo doesn't have. It's got, because you don't, not everybody has to run the same gun. Not everybody has the same battle rifle.
Right.
There's a little bit of, there's style there. You have different grenade types, a large variety of the way that the player can move.
Mm-hmm.
It's more accessible, I think. There's a higher skill ceiling, especially, and some people are going to potentially disagree with this. Some people will agree with this, and that's fine. I'm not looking to start fights, but especially with it coming to PC, having native mouse aim with no aim assist, the skill ceiling, I think, is raised even further. You have an unlimited... on stream, I push the sense up on the PC beta to 100, and I put my DPI at 16,000. which is the highest his mouse goes, and it's completely and utterly unplayable. But there's no sensitivity ceiling, so you can
it's as good as you can get.
Whip on people fast. Exactly, yeah. You can get pretty crazy good at Destiny 2 on PC because the limits are basically limitless with how fast you can aim and what you can do in terms of movement.
Well, the FOV slider too doesn't make that any,
Yeah, dude, it's 105 felt real nice.
Yeah.
I played with it at max, and the game just felt. It felt.
Was it everything you ever wanted and more?
It's not even describable, man. There's no easy way to say how good it felt. It felt natural. It felt. So I've seen people say, "Oh, it's a console game." Man, you should try the PC version because it feels like a damn good PC game too.
Yeah,
it's exceptional. If it does not, when the PC game comes out, if that thing does not win a crazy number of awards, I'm going to be surprised. The dudes at Vicarious Visions and everybody at Bungie, Destiny 2 in general, what I've played so far at the reveal and then the console beta and the PC beta feels really, really good. But I couldn't get enough of the PC beta, dude. I didn't want to sleep.
I don't blame you.
There was a night I was supposed to stream Battlegrounds, and after like 2 games, I was like, nah, we're going back to Destiny 2 PC beta. I can't say no. It's so good.
Well, it didn't run for very long. I mean, it was over before I knew it.
3 days.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get enough time in at all. But we're gonna dive deep into this. We're gonna dive deep into this. We got a couple more questions for you, and then we're really gonna talk brass tacks about the beta.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, we got one final question for you before we move on. What is the number one thing you're most looking forward to on launch day? Now, there's 2 different launch days.
Current launch.
There are.
Console launch.
Current launch.
Console launch. I'm looking forward to experiencing a new, like just a new thing. It's a new Destiny. It's not everything from the old Destiny is gone. They don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. Fusion grenades don't have to kill me in one hit. They don't have to track me across the world. I don't have to get killed by the same Eyes Luna, the same, everything is new. Yeah. There's no more self-res. There's no Blade Dancer, when I swing at somebody and it doesn't hit, that's gone.
Yeah.
It's all gone. Yeah. Everything is brand new. And so having a complete, we're not even talking like a weekly reset. We're not talking a DLC. This is a brand new Destiny in its entirety. It's a new beginning for a lot of people. It's going to be cool to see where, I'm excited to get into a new, figure out what the meta is. What's the really good setup that everybody needs to run. And the PC beta, everybody's like, explosive rounds on a hand cannon is the best thing in the whole world. Well, we'll see what happens at console release and then again at PC release. And it's just everything is new. And I love the idea of that.
I want to ask you too, before we move on, it was kind of the same for me when Trials dropped. I played so much PvE and raids and this and that, and dropped a guy in the fire team. Like we would try to do it with Les each week and in the raid and stuff, and then just started playing so much PvP. But I am super excited to jump into some PvE content for a little bit. What is that like for a guy like you? I mean, because everything, of course, you just mentioned naturally is PvP related stuff. I mean, are you excited to jump into the PvE content? And I mean, you got to get some things, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. We when there's new PvE stuff, when there's new
kind of
content
a little break
in general,
for you.
Yeah, it's good to take a casual, like I shouldn't say casual, a relaxed.
Yes.
Just like I can take today the first 24 hours after release. Honestly, are going to be me just going, man, look at how freaking gorgeous this game is.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot that alien in the face. Look, it exploded, and that was beautiful too. I love that, and that's fun, and I'm going to do that stuff. I want to go collect all of those things. I'm a big PvE nerd too. I think people don't realize that though, because when I started to stream, PvP was the focus. We played Trials 24/7.
Well, there wasn't anything else to do anymore at that point either in the game.
But we also, me and the people I usually run with, typically are the kind of people to try and go for world first raid completions. I think we've gotten top 10, top 15 every single time since we started trying to do it. Because I love going for that, because that's the PvE competitive side too.
Right. Yeah.
You can't tell I'm a pretty competitive guy.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to ask that too, because I feel like that's a good question for you to answer is how excited you are for the PvE content.
I love going in blind to do stuff like that. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty stoked.
Very cool.
I can't wait though, because the way I'm coming into Destiny 2, I'm in such a different place as a player than when I started Destiny 1. I was not even into any multiplayer PvP type games. I had kind of written that out of my life at a point, because I had poor experiences in games like Call of Duty and Battlefield, where it just wasn't for me. Like it wasn't fun. So coming into Destiny 1, I was just like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I love cooperative gameplay where you get with a team and tackle objectives, and you can fight aliens and you can do the raids. And it was like the ultimate version of co-op gaming for me. But over time, as I fell in love with playing Destiny, and especially when Trials of Osiris dropped, I started to take PvP more seriously. And now going into Destiny 2, I'm just as excited as you might be, or as AER0KNIGHT might be, for all the new game types and the new maps, and playing 4v4 and all the changes of the sandbox. And so I'm going to get so much more value out of this game now. And I can't wait just for everything, man. I'm just,
I when they announced, which we covered, but when they've announced when Trials was going to drop, honestly, as someone who, I mean, I don't have to explain it to the listeners, I love Trials. I'm like, I probably would have been fine with a little bit longer, because now as soon as Friday hits,
that's your
I'm
weekend.
gonna have like that inner struggle of like, okay, what am I supposed to do? There's new content over here. Yeah. Like, but Trials is live.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough with Trials dropping right after the raid. A couple days after the raid next week. Especially for the full-time streamer. I mean, you guys are going to be rocking and rolling, and then run right
Busy.
into Trials
Let's
over
get
the
that,
weekend.
I told my wife about it, and she's like, so I don't get to see you for like 2 weeks then, right? And I'm like, well, baby, I got a work thing I got to do, so
gotta bring home the bacon, honey.
Yeah, she understands, and the way, when we've had conversations about this in the past, she's basically said, I'm just going to look at it like you are on a business trip. Because
there you
it's
go.
the only way that I can stay sane.
Yeah.
Is she knows that if it's an emergency, she can come downstairs and say, I need you right now. And people have seen me on stream. I've been in the middle of Battlegrounds games or Trials matches, and if she needs me, if there's an emergency, I will literally just say, all right, be right back. And it does not matter. It could be the last game of a card, and it's 4-4, and it's a 1v1. And, if I need to land this snipe to win, but my son is
priorities.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to stand up and I'm going to leave, because that's just that's the way it works.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Real life has to come before everything else. I mean, relationships and
for sure.
Your kids and your wife,
families,
so much more important and so much more at stake than what happens in a game. So
exactly,
our communities understand that. This is normally DrLupo, where we ask our guest, how was your reset? Now, call it strategic or not, we've wanted you on the show for quite a while, and happy you're joining us, but we have a pretty good idea what was included in your last reset. So
let's talk about the beta.
Yay!
'Cause that's all we played too.
Oh man!
So there were some obvious changes, of course, like sandbox changes, stuff that was promised. That I think we should at least talk a little bit about, just how the game played overall, before we talk about how it played specifically on PC. What did you guys notice? I guess first jumping into the game, into some of the missions and the story, and then getting into PvP. What was the biggest change that you guys kind of saw at first?
The thing that stood out the most to me, and I'm hoping that people agree with me, is that if you jump on Destiny 1, you play right now, you're going to die to melees, grenades, and supers a lot.
Right.
It's not there is quite a bit of gunplay, but it's not as focused on gunplay as a lot of people would like it to be. Right now, Destiny 2, because the armor sets that we're running with and the way that they've changed things, there's no strength, discipline, intellect anymore.
Yeah.
You are facing, gunplay far more than you are getting one shot by abilities and grenades and supers. I am very glad that at least in Control on the PC beta, I was able to get 2 supers per game pretty much every single time, very regularly, unless we mercied, which didn't happen too much because you had to get 60 before the other team got 10, and that didn't happen very often.
Yeah. That was kind of rare to have mercy pop.
But I was able to pull it off pretty much every day of the PC beta a number of times, but it wasn't like every game, which was really good.
Yeah, it seems like 1 super guaranteed, and if you have a phenomenal game, you're going to get 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in general, the game was way more about who could outshoot the other player than instead of who could throw their fusion grenade in the general vicinity of the target
right.
and get the kill. That obviously a joke, but you know what I mean. The game was way more about shooting other players and way less about punching them in the face twice and laughing because you have a shield, or throwing a fusion grenade and looking away because it's not cool to look at explosions, but you got that kill and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
It seems
to
like
just
they're finding
spam stuff.
It seems like they're maybe finding that beautiful, happy medium of letting us feel like a superhero, but at the same time requiring gun skill and some other strategery.
Yeah,
agreed.
So, yeah,
I did notice. Maybe it was just the population. I know a lot more people that may have never played the game before were trying it out on PC. I mean, obviously there were people in the Twitch directory and big streamers and little streamers, everybody in between, that were checking it out to see what they had in store. But even just myself, just playing, just public matchmaking the whole time, I feel like I ran into a lot of fresh blood, like people that had no idea what was happening. And I'm an average player. So to go in and like wipe the floor with people, I was like, wow, there's a lot of new players in here. And that was an exciting feeling, though, to know that we've got a whole huge audience that's coming to the game for the first time that's going to need, they're going to have a big learning curve, even bigger than players going from Destiny 1 to 2. It was interesting to experience that.
I felt generally the same way. There were a number of times where one thing about Destiny that I've always thought is unique to it that I don't see in a ton of other shooters. Somebody's going to correct me, I'm sure. Totally fine. But I feel like the verticality in Destiny in general is not super common compared to other first-person shooter games, especially ones that are on the competitive side. I mean, like CSGO, you don't see people jumping twice up in the air and flying around and floating and stuff.
Right.
So having to look up for some people was not in their list of things to do in an engagement. So I could very often jump over a player and just stay above them and beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, I did that a good bit.
Worked.
Yeah,
it worked a lot.
It
worked a lot because people just wouldn't look up. I could jump and like land on something above them and just watch them spin in circles trying to figure out where I went. I'd just smile and just shoot them a couple times and move on with life.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things change once the game is released on console and then on PC. I'm hoping that people start to pick up on that. I'm sure that they will eventually. But yeah, it was unique, and I do think the population. I hope Bungie puts some numbers out because I'd be really curious to see what kind of player counts they had. But I want to see how many people played that thing. What was the exposure like? How many people try to get their hands on the PC beta and really dig into it? How many people played one PvP match and then quit? How many people played a bunch of PvP matches? Who did what? I want to know who did what.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they put out any actual numbers. Did they put anything out for the console beta?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did either.
Remember.
Man, it'd be great to know, though.
Yeah, for sure.
See what to expect in the future.
As far as like weapon tuning, I'm trying to remember. Did they say that they increased damage on kinetic weapons since we played the console beta? Did they say that in their notes?
I don't remember the details on that.
I don't either.
How did you feel about hand cannons?
Okay.
Dude, hand cannons were...
Go ahead.
Ooh, doggy.
So...
As those were a hot topic pretty quick.
Hand cannons were doing the same amount of damage between PC and console beta. There was a difference, though. And this kind of crosses into some other things that you have on your list, specifically the aim assist topic, because this has been a really hot one. I've said some stuff on it. Reddit has said some stuff on it. Everybody said some stuff on it. So, if you don't mind, I want to get my thoughts out there. So
please do.
So there's two things at play here, okay? Whether you're on console or PC, aim assist exists in the game if a controller is plugged into the device. So if it's plugged into the PC, there's aim assist. If it's plugged into the console, there's aim assist. You don't magically get aim assist with your mouse if you have a controller plugged into your PC, but you're playing with your mouse. It knows what you're playing with. I actually, in the middle of a game, was switching between one to the other, and it would just instantly swap, and the mechanic would swap. The other thing that they did is if you're playing on a native mouse on PC, the recoil is very, very low.
It's different.
Compared to if you use a controller.
Yeah.
If you pulled out the hand cannon, Better Devils was the go-to for a ton of people, pointed at a wall with a mouse and just shot the entire magazine, you would draw a pretty consistent, not very spaced apart line going kind of up to the left. If you then did the exact same thing on a controller, there were spaces. It was like maybe 3 times as high, the line, if you did a whole magazine of 10 shots. It was very, very obvious that the recoil was much higher through a controller. Okay? They did that to kind of level the playing field, sort of, to make things feel more comfortable, I think, for a mouse versus a controller. They also have 2 other mechanics at play. Aim assist, where if you're on a controller, or like I played through Destiny 1 using a Zim to use a keyboard and a mouse for controller input. We can get to that in a second, so I can clear up anybody's freaking out about that. There's aim assist exists, which is the slowing of the reticle around a target that is an opponent. So like if you look at a teammate, there's no aim assist because you're not trying to shoot your teammate. But if you are swiping past a target that's an enemy, the reticle slows down as you get closer to it, and then speeds back up as you move away from it. On consoles, anybody that has aim assist, that's where drag sniping, or swipe sniping, there's a ton of different names for it, but that's where you slide your reticle across the target and pull the trigger at just the right time when it slows down to hit them in the head with a sniper rifle.
Yep.
You can do that with a controller because aim assist is a thing, right? You can't do that. It's much, much more difficult to do that, I should say, with a mouse because there's no slowdown. You just have to hit them at the exact right time.
Right.
However, and I saw a video that someone linked to me. Hopefully somebody out there can find it. But the last mechanic is called bullet magnetism. And that is where you might not be aiming at the head of the target, but the bullet still goes to the head of the target. And it is extremely obvious with the sniper rifle that they had available in the console and PC beta. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a low impact, high rate of fire snipe with a, we'll say, mid-zoom scope. But I saw a video of someone literally missing people with the reticle on the PC beta. They were using, I don't remember if they were using a mouse or a controller. I think it was a controller. It doesn't really matter. But the reticle was clearly not on the target's head, and they were getting headshots.
Interesting.
It seems like, at least with sniper rifles, this is the only one I can say for sure because of the video that I saw was just a snipe. They were only focusing on that one snipe. It seems like the bullet magnetism in this game might be higher than what we're used to from Destiny 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is not... I didn't do testing on that specifically. Someone else did, and I just saw a video, so your mileage might vary if you're listening, and you may have experienced that, you may not have. But this is what I saw in the video, is the dude was definitely missing his shots and was definitely getting headshot kills with the snipe, because he was like whipping towards the target and just pulling the trigger, and it was hitting him in the face. More so than I had ever seen in Destiny 1. So, anyway, the reason that, to circle back, because you had way back at the beginning of this question, before I started talking like crazy, you asked about the hand cannons. in a game like this that has variables in aim assist, so mouse versus controller, you're going to have, and you have a bunch of different rate of fire weapons. You're going to have different experiences. But think about it this way. Which would you expect to perform better? A gun that you have to keep the reticle on the head for, let's say, two different guns have a time to kill of 1 second on the dot if you hit every headshot. Okay? Mm-hmm. A high rate of fire gun that does less damage, during that 1 second period, you have to keep the reticle on the head more times. So, like, we'll say 20 times in that 1 second to get the most efficient headshot kill.
Right.
Versus a gun that does more damage but has a slower rate of fire. You only have to keep it on the head 4 times to get the headshot kill. Which one do you think is going to do better in a world that doesn't have aim assist? It's going to be the lower rate of fire weapon, because only 4 times during that 1 second do you have to be on the head. Whereas with we're thinking with no aim assist, you have to be on the head 20 times during the 1 second with like an auto rifle, an AR.
Yeah.
When you don't have aim assist, lower rate of fire, higher impact weapons are going to flourish, just because the nature of the mechanics of the game. Now you add aim assist in, that helps keep the reticle on the target. When you use a controller, other guns start to come up. They can be as efficient as that higher impact, lower rate of fire weapon, like a hand cannon, like Better Devils. And plus, Better Devils had explosive rounds, which they didn't have apparent damage drop off at range. So even if they were out of the target range, if you hit near them or on the target, you'd still get that extra like 20 damage, even though the bullet itself only did like 8. So you could still be relatively effective. I think that's part of why that hand cannon and Sunshot both flourished in the betas, because they had explosive rounds, which helped them do higher effective damage. That's why people kind of felt like they were OP, so to say. I will openly admit, by the end of the PC beta, I was using Better Devils and Sunshot at the same time, almost exclusively, because I felt like I was effective all the time. But that's, so the way that I've talked to people about it, the way that I look at the weapons and the balancing right now, hand cannons on console and hand cannons on PC are still at the same level with each other. However, below that on console or with aim assist, other guns can still be closely effective to hand cannons. But once you take away aim assist, players that can't maintain headshot accuracy over the course of the time to kill, the most optimal time to kill, they're going to feel like a pulse rifle or an auto rifle isn't as good as a hand cannon, because they just don't have to stay consistently accurate with a hand cannon in the same way that they do with a higher rate of fire weapon. I mean, it's overly complicated explanation. I hope somebody out there listening followed. Sense. But that's why I felt like people were like, yo, hand cannons are super OP on PC. I don't really think so. I think that they were in line with aim assist or non-aim assist, they were in line with each other. It's just that the other guns without aim assist didn't flourish for lower skilled players because they couldn't maintain headshot accuracy.
Yeah. If you have the gun skill, it's just with the way that they are balanced, it seems like hand cannons are always going to be a dominant factor in competitive play.
They require less exposed time. You can peek in and out of corners with them and take shots and then be hidden again, along with the competitive thing and the aim assist thing. So, because like I told you before we started talking, there was recently some noise out there, and it's going to continue to be noise, about some things that I posted on Twitter, said on Twitter, about the way that the game feels right now. And I'm going to, if you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to pull up exactly what I said, because I don't want to misquote myself, because I was misquoted on Reddit very quickly. All right? Yeah. I said, aim assist needs to be reduced or removed entirely in PvP on the PC version of Destiny 2, or you're going to see some massive toxicity. I did not say aim assist needs to be removed because it's overpowered. I did not say that.
Yeah,
I did not say that aim assist was causing problems. Yeah, the way that the game plays right now on PC felt totally fine. And I'll get to the details on that in a second. But that tweet says, or you're going to see some massive toxicity. And I mean specifically around people saying, well, you're using a controller, so that's the only reason you're good. Or you're using a Zim or using a native mouse, and that's the only reason you're good. And that's exactly what happened. I made this statement, and then people blew up about it. And they're like, you're just saying this and this. I'm like, no, I'm saying that if they don't remove it, if they don't level the playing field, so to say, so that no one has it, not some people do and some people don't. If when no one has it, everybody's the same, and then people can't complain.
Right.
So that was what I started off with. I said, I don't have a problem with it, but it will affect the PC platform in a negative way in the long term. And it's because the social aspect, people will go after each other just like they went after me. And I saw Luminosity posted that he tweeted like the next day that he was getting a ton of crap from stream for using a controller from people. He's like, I don't know when this game got super competitive, but why can't I just play the way that I want to play? I'm like, I don't know. So, like I just talked about with the rate of fire stuff, and my experience so far with the game, in the sandbox of Destiny, because of how the AA functions, the aim assist functions, and bullet magnetism and everything with that, there's still a hierarchy that makes sense and should make sense to a lot of people. At the very top, native mouse and keyboard, no aim assist. If you're a good shot, you're going to work every controller player that you come up against because you don't have a sensitivity cap. You can spin like a top in ways that their 10 cents cannot. Believe me, you can jump over people and flip on them 180 like you would not believe. You'll make people break their ankles. You can be more accurate, more precise down to pixels than a controller can, a thumbstick can, or a mouse through a Zim, because that's still translated mouse input. It's not native, and I hope people understand that there's a difference between native mouse input and mouse input through a Zim. They're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, on PC, I will only ever be playing native mouse and keyboard because it's the best way to play. It gives you it gives you the most advantages because of all the things I just listed. But then right below that, the next thing in line would be a really good controller player with aim assist or through a Zim. Those two, to me, are still in Destiny. They still feel equivalent. I don't feel like there is an advantage, and this is just my opinion. I'm not, trying to jam this down anybody's throat. Just throwing it out there so everybody's clear. Because some people, immediately after I started, because I did some testing, I plugged it, because you can plug your Zim into your PC with an Xbox 360 controller, and it recognizes it, and you can play that way if you want to. But you're literally just hindering yourself. But those two things, controller with aim assist and keyboard and mouse via Zim with aim assist, are still equivalent, in my opinion. I don't see an advantage of one over the other, and I still see native mouse and keyboard as by far superior. And it's going to go one way or another. Some people are going to disagree. There's still, believe me, there's going to be people out there that tell me that I'm cheating playing with the Zim. I'll be playing on console with the Zim, PS4 and Xbox One. So before anybody asks the question, yes, still doing what I've been doing for 2.5 years. But what I saw was on Reddit, somebody made a post that said that I was complaining that the Zim was overpowered and was better than controllers. And that was completely and utterly wrong. It was, and because of that, the rest of my PC beta streams after that, the second day, chat was very toxic. Chat was after me. Everybody was calling me a liar. People were saying I was cheating, and it was disappointing to see. But let me just trust me. If you're trying to play the most optimal way on PC, use native mouse and keyboard. It's so good. It feels so good. The whole game feels natural. It's really well optimized. People were saying they were playing 60 frames on laptops with a 750M, GTX 750M, like really bad stuff. But if you lower the settings, it gets really low. It still looks good, and it still plays at high frame rates.
Game is very well optimized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is, dude.
The one thing I experienced pretty high frame drops was when I pushed the anti-aliasing all the way up. Mm-hmm. And then even on a 6900K with overclocked with a GTX 1080, just one 1080, I think I was dipping down to like 45 FPS. But you probably won't need to run it like that.
Yeah.
No matter what. Unless you're like running quad SLI and stuff like that. You're just not going to need to do it. So the overall experience in general, man, I'm really looking forward to everybody getting into it on console, but I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to sound elitist, And I did see some people on Twitter that previously were like, I can't tell the difference between 30 and 60 FPS. After the PC beta, they were like, I'm really wrong, and I apologize for saying that. Holy crap, it looks so much better. PC is going to be the best experience. It's going to be the best way to play it because it can do so much. Because there's no frame cap, because you can play it at 4K 144 FPS when those monitors come out.
Oh, and you
early
can
2018.
it's set up to play on like widescreen, like 16:9. Like, oh my gosh.
You can play on 21:9 displays, the ultra wides. It can do it all, dude.
Crazy. I mean, it was stunning to come from console and to see the game in 60 FPS, in just 60 FPS. Just logged on, booted into the homecoming mission. I'm just sitting there and I'm just turning in a circle and I'm like, this is so freaking smooth. Like, oh my gosh. It was insane. And I'm not even playing on the best settings with even a great monitor. I mean, my monitor is just like a business class average monitor and just looked fabulous. The fact that the overall package is the way that it's been optimized, and then actually having aim assist, you can literally plug in a controller and go, makes it very, very accessible. And if they want to sell more copies on the PC, they've put the right resources in the right places.
Oh yeah, and that aim assist, that stuff won't change.
I don't think it's going to either, and it's going to be a continuous.
There will be discussion about it forever for the
conversation
for the life of the game. People will talk about it, and some people will laugh about it, but a majority of players will embrace it, and it won't matter, because the people that are really good will just be like, all right, well, you're on a controller, I'm probably just going to win anyway.
Yeah.
The people that they put it there for will get to play, and that's more what they're looking for. They want to open it up to more people, and from the bottom of my heart, that is the right way to do it. If that's your goal, is to make it a community accessible so that everybody can play however they want to play.
Yeah.
They're doing it the right way.
And at the end of the day, the most competitive players are gonna play in whatever way gives them the best advantage, and they're gonna be on keyboard and mouse. And the people that are going to be arguing about controllers are going to be the ones that are below that skill level. The average or maybe even above average players are going to be all caught up in the nonsense of, oh, this is giving you this advantage, this and that, while everybody else that's really, really good won't be thinking twice about it.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty dumb argument.
It is a pretty dumb argument. My opinion was only that it's that the existence of it is going to cause it might not cause problems actually playing in the game, but it's going to cause ego problems for a lot of people, and they're going to go after each other. I don't like seeing that.
At the end of the day, though, I am a great example of them having made this decision where I'm primarily a console player. I just built the first PC, like great desktop gaming PC I've had in 10 years this year, so that I could stream and I could play Destiny 2 on PC. But knowing that it was going to be a complete, casual here and there experience for me. But the fact that I was able to jump in, it plays great on my rig that's not super high end, and I can plug in a controller and have an improved experience and still use a controller and still do fine. I'm not going to compete at the highest levels on PvP, but I can play with a lot of other people that I normally wouldn't play with that are on a different console on PC. If I'm looking at where I'm going to be playing, is it going to be Xbox and PS4 or Xbox and PC? They made a pretty good argument for PC for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of the two console balancing players.
Because I can tell you, sure as hell ain't going to be 3.
Console and PC. Yeah, right.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think it's like we said when we got back from Dre too. It's like I'm primarily a console player, and I mean I've had my rig for a while and dabble in PC games quite a bit too, and I'm pretty cozy with keyboard and mouse. But it's it's one of those things. I'm gonna push myself probably to, when it comes to PvP on PC, to use keyboard and mouse, get used to it, remap my keys and all that good stuff. But it's the classic when we came back from Dre. It's like the game. I mean, think about the gaming world we live in right now. The game looks great, amazing on console, okay? But there's a certain crispness that you will see. Crispness, sorry, is a good word for it.
Super crispy.
Because when Cyborg and I walked into that little area, it's like the episode after that, we were like, guys, the game looks great on console, because there was that whole discussion. Yeah, it looks great, but there's just a certain little bit there that you will see when you see it on PC.
It's a whole other level.
It's it's hard to describe until it's right in front of you.
Even trying to watch a video, you just don't. You're not going to get the same experience of what it really looks like. And it's looks fabulous and so well optimized. Played great. Could be happier with how it went. Everything ran really smooth. I think you had made a comment on Twitter as well, Lupo, about lag and how you ran into your first red bar, but you're still able to kill him.
Yeah, it was strange. It wasn't like Destiny 1 where they would teleport around the map and then suddenly you would explode. Like I remember the guy was skipping. It was kind of like his position was only updating once every maybe 3/4 to every second, but I could light him up and he would take damage, maybe a half second to a full second delayed, but his stuff wasn't hurting me. Like it was weird. It was just a weird thing where I felt like I was the one that was red bar, but I could clearly tell that it was him because everybody else was fine. And it was just this one guy was bouncing around. It was really weird. It's definitely a change from how latency looked in Destiny.
I'm wondering if that change is going to be, and it sounds like there's certain changes that they made to the damage referee possibly, and what is the rate? Not the polling rate, but the
tick rate.
Yeah, the tick rate. I'm interested to see if that's changed at all in between those betas. There's a lot that can go into what caused what you saw, and I'm hoping it's not just a PC thing, that we see improvements across the board.
Agreed.
But too soon to say. They still had so much time to play with it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see next week.
Yeah, all of our conversations, that's what I was going to say, makes me wonder, when they announced PC was a month after, it's like how much you start to wonder if that's strategic. Because, I mean, we're all going to experience the game on console for a month, and then you wonder how many... I mean, there's players like us, Cyborg and I, that primarily play on console, but how much migration's going to happen when October gets here, I don't know what the strategy would be, but I mean, the game, maybe they just want to be extremely sure, but it's at a pretty amazing state right now.
Yeah.
From what we saw last week. I can't wait.
I
can't wait for both.
I know.
I cannot wait to experience. I'm still gonna balance both console and PC, but I was super excited to finally be able to experience the game, the beta, with keyboard and mouse. Like we talked about last week, Cyborg. Just the UI and the way they developed it and made it just fits very nicely on PC.
It does.
Why don't we ask you before we let you go out of here, because you've got such a great wealth of knowledge. Why don't you, if you could, do you have any tips for the PvP player that's trying to improve, especially moving to 4v4s, with the way that abilities are changing, how gun skill is becoming so much more important, positioning. There's so many ways that we have to modify our game. You got any tips for us?
So what I experienced in both the console and PC beta, at least initially for many players, was the desire to treat it like Destiny 1. Mm-hmm. When I say that, I mean a lot of people were still just running at targets. A lot of people were still they were expecting to get kills with melees and grenades in the same fashion they were before. They were expecting to be able to warrior or run by themselves and not with a teammate.
Right.
And they were punished for it ruthlessly by people that would team shot. So, number one thing that you're going to see, that you're going to need to improve upon, that you should focus on, is the buddy system, we'll say. Don't cross the road without your friend holding your hand because, you don't want to get hit by a car or the opponent's, the enemy team that suddenly lights you on fire when you step out in an open lane by yourself. People need to pick a friend or two friends or three friends if you really want to ball up. You might get punished for that too, and start working on team shotting a lot. You can do it in Destiny 1 now. You only have a couple days left to even worry about it in Destiny 1. But running by yourself is going to get you killed more often than not. Running with a teammate is going to go a long way, because two guns, like the greatest opponent, the most powerful weapon in Destiny 2 is going to be team shooting. It doesn't matter what gun you have. If you and a buddy are shooting the same guy and he's only shooting one of you, you're going to win. He's going to die.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the biggest thing for a lot of people. If you get with a friend and start playing together and all that, you're going to win a majority of your matches, honestly.
I kept making the joke on stream in the console beta because at first, when I first say it, it doesn't make sense because it's obvious, but it felt like when you got team shot in the beta, like that there was a multiplier there. And I don't mean just that two people were shooting at you. It felt like there literally was a multiplier applied overall because you just get melted. Like you were toast, period.
Oh yeah.
I found pretty quick trying 4v4s out for the first time in Destiny 1, like playing matches and stuff with people that, like you said, the buddy system works really, really well, because if you run in packs of twos, you're not all grouped up, and you help keep each other alive. You're there to do team shots, to run plays together, back each other up, lay down cover fire where needed or suppress people. And I started to work on that skill, and I think it pays off.
Well, it was amazing in the beta. We played Countdown so much, and we could tell at what point in the night we figured out how we should be playing Destiny 2 and how we started to move around the map as a team. I mean, it was night and day.
Oh, yeah.
Like when it clicked for us. Yep.
The other thing I think that is will be a big thing for a lot of people is because you don't have intellect, strength, and discipline like you did before, your abilities are on a longer cooldown than previously. Mm-hmm. You really need to use those in a more purposeful way. Some people before, at least in Destiny 1, you'll see people chuck a fusion to see if they'll get a kill, and so it might just be wasted, but they know it's on cooldown pretty quickly, 20 seconds, something like that, you get it back.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. In Destiny 2, those things need to supplement your shooting every time. Otherwise, you're wasting them. So if you're about to get into engagement pre-nade, or if someone is backing away and you've got shots on them, they're weak, always post-nade. Don't just throw the nade to do damage, just maybe, because that's a waste. Same with your melee ability. Utilize it in the way that it's intended to be utilized, because if you're just spamming it, if you're just using it to use it, just because you're like, oh, I have my melee up, I should just use it on somebody, it's gonna be wasteful, and you're gonna get punished for it and probably die. So
I'm so happy that you're able to say these things right now at the current state of Destiny 2, because your abilities are an aid to your gun skill, and we still are superheroes and we still will have supers, but you just have to be more strategic with them. I love it.
Well, I enjoyed going into the first gunfight of a match and not just having grenade spam.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's so good. It's so much different than how Destiny 1 plays right now.
Yeah.
It's just a whole nother layer of balance for them too, because there's people out there that they, and I totally get it, and I want to feel that way too. And for them, basically to feel like a superhero and get multiple supers in a game like we did in Destiny 1. And it was great for the fun that we had with it. But for them to be able to balance this and find a great middle ground of balance between popping your super and getting that awesome multi-kill to actually, you know, and the other flip side of it, having gun skill and timing your grenades and not wasting them, like you just said, like it excites me. Like I cannot wait to spend so much time in the crucible of Destiny 2.
Gotta be good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the tips. I think, you know, fundamentals at this point are going to be where people need to focus to really change the type of the game that they're playing is going to have the most impact. So, focusing on the way that this game plays, you know, from the get-go, if you can set your fundamentals down, all these basic things, and you're going to be set up for a lot more success down the line when you really start to tweak the more, you know, the more meta aspect of the game that will emerge, you know, play styles or certain classes or subclass builds and different things like that will come in time. But
we have so many guns to find.
Oh man, so many guns to find.
I can't wait for a whole new armory.
And figure out what the best ones are too. Like figure out what works for you the best. I can't wait. We're so close, guys. We're so close.
We are. When they're hearing this, they'll have less than 24 hours, probably.
It's right around the corner.
So
make sure you get some rest. Make sure you drink water and don't eat crappy food, people, please. I don't want to hear anybody dying from staying up too late for this game.
Oh, God. Seriously. Take care of yourself.
Eat healthy and stay up late.
Somebody brought, it's funny, somebody, I don't even remember where it was, Discord or Twitter, but they were just talking about how, you know, when they play, and they brought up, you know, how they used to play every Tuesday on reset, and they'd be up, you know, 4:30 in the morning, like doing reset stuff. And it brought back like flashbacks of year 1 and 2, like literally staying up after reset to go run nightfalls and all this different stuff. And I remembered how little I slept for like a year was insane. Like I'm talking like 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep a night on the weeknight, like days in a row.
Multiple days.
Oh God,
yeah.
I hope it's not like
the
this
multiple
time
days
around.
that'll get you on that. It just hit me today, man. I was watching just a random video, and I'm sure we've talked about it before, but it just fully hit me today that like Xur coming again
man.
is like fully
staying up to see what
exciting
Xur brought,
again, like
you know?
completely. Yeah, it's like Lupo, you said earlier, like it's a full. It's not just DLC, like it is a brand new experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if Xur doesn't
Very
show
exciting.
up, man? Are the people gonna riot?
Well,
I look forward to the riots then. I will I'll watch from atop the tower and smile. It's fine.
Yep.
with no aim assist.
With no aim assist. Bro, I'm playing my controller and get wrecked, scrub.
That's right.
Right.
Well, Dr. Lupo, man, we really appreciate you coming on the show and joining us this week.
Yeah,
Of
thanks
course.
so much, man.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
And you're welcome back anytime, especially once the PC drops. PC version drops. We'll be very excited to hear your thoughts on the full release.
I'm just going to be smiling constantly. I want you to know that. That's all. It's
Ear to ear,
ridiculous.
Every time you pop in his stream, he's smiling.
Seriously, dude.
He's
Seriously.
gonna throw a party.
Isn't that's the case already though?
Basically, I mean, right now, yeah, basically.
Hey, what a great year we have ahead of us, and it's only September. So much more to look forward to as players of this game, man. It's an exciting time. Well, tell us where people can find you on the internets.
Yeah, so if you're looking to watch videos of my son saying fart or laugh at stupid things that I say while I'm on the toilet, on Twitter, you can find me at DrLupo on Twitch. Or if you are on Twitch and you want to watch stream, where sometimes I step away randomly to post on Twitter while I'm on the toilet.
Lots of toilet.
It's Twitch. Lots of toilet tweets too. That's the focus of my stream mostly. Yep. It's twitch.tv/DrLupo.
Awesome. You should certainly go watch a stream if you haven't. Give this guy a follow, a sub if you'd like to support him. He definitely
Dirt Fam certified.
We give him the Dirt Fam stamp of approval. That's like
Appreciate
better
it, guys.
housekeeping's, seal of approval, man. It's a big deal.
I'm adding it to my resume. I want you to know
Please
that.
do.
Excellent.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, thanks so much again, man.
You bet.
Well, man, that was a ton of fun just listening to everything Lupo had to say, which, he's always got a lot to say, but it's really invaluable takes on all the things that we discussed. So I'm glad we finally got him on.
It was a live podcast for us. We were just like, we're zoning out, taking it all in.
Yeah, pretty much. We could have not published that and we would have been fine with it because we got a ton out of it ourselves. So
yeah,
that was great. But be sure to support Dr. Lupo. He is a solid dude.
Very much so. Very much.
All right, man. You got some Derp Fam discourse, dude?
We do have some Derp Fam discourse. We got a little bit of everything this week. Our good buddy, Inept Old Fart, you've all heard of him, left us a nice, lovely speak pipe this week.
Wonderful.
Let me take a listen.
Hey, Derp Fam. This is Inept Old Fart. Just wanted to say the PC beta on Destiny 2 looks fabulous. I know I was unhappy with how I thought it looked on Xbox beta, but the PC, man, I'm considering actually buying the PC game. Have a good one.
All right. He's doing a little follow-up speak pipe here. Thanks for that speak pipe, by the way, Mr. Inept Old Fart. He's letting us know that he played the PC and he thinks it looks beautiful. See, he left us a speak pipe a few weeks ago and he had some opinions about the way the console version looked, but he sounds very pleased with the way the PC version looked.
Hopefully he enjoys
I don't know.
it.
I don't know what it is about the console version. He even sent us an email and you have your own opinion, but the console version looks pretty. But here, the thing is we all have our own opinions.
He got what he wanted out of PC.
I'm happy. Yes, he's got what he wants out of the PC.
Good.
He's happy with it graphically. So that's awesome. Thanks for sending that in.
Next, we have an email from our friend Thaden, who we haven't heard from in a little while. Let's read this off here. He says, "Hey, Arrow and Cyborg and all you Derp fam. Thaden here. Been a bit over a year and a month since I joined the fam, and I've made so many memories with many new friends. Seeing the Derp Taj in all its glory reminded me of a moment that sums up the fam to me well. My buddy Josh was playing with Joe Meaden, Dreadnought, and myself. I don't remember what we were doing, but knowing Joe, it wasn't trials. We were just talking, and Josh interrupts and says, I've got a lot of groups that I play games with, but yours is different. Most groups talk mostly about the game, and you guys do. But every time we're in a party, the conversation's about each other's lives and how you're doing. It's different. You all are genuinely friends. It's my favorite memory of D1. If you've been listening, but haven't taken the leap into the Discord of the clan, I cannot recommend it enough. Thank you, Derp fam, for a wonderful year in the ones to come. See you in D2.
What a great email.
Yeah, man, he brought up the Taj,
Thanks,
which we forgot to bring up in announcements.
I know. I wrote a little note at the bottom of my little notations here to mention it at the end because we didn't at the beginning. The Derp Taj is live, ladies and gentlemen. It's out there. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, Cyborg and I, we really, really hope that you guys enjoy it and that it kind of does what a video can possibly do to encompass what the Derp Fam's all about.
Absolutely.
And Thaden sending this email is fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for that email, man. I'm really glad to hear that other people see what we're about from the outside looking in.
It's classic, dude. All the pictures that were sent to us, all the clips, all the funny clips, the PvP clips, like that is, I mean, it's easy to just throw that, splice it up. I mean, that is what makes the Derp Fam. All those pictures, man, like it's just unbelievable. It's fascinating how many experiences we've had just in our community over the last 3 years. 2 years. 2 years.
And
we weren't
and
at
many
launch,
more years to go. There was people who watched it and they got into Discord and there were people who were like, man, like I love this, but watching it makes me wish I had been more involved. And
Mm-hmm.
The answer to that is like, this is just the end of a chapter in the book. And there are many more chapters to come.
This is
There's many more years. And so if you found that you wish you had been a bigger part of a community or our community, this is a great launch off point for that to start to happen for you, because everybody's coming back to the game. And this is a great time to rekindle friendships and to find new relationships and to be more active in a community that you see that you want to be a part of. So I just want to encourage people that now is a wonderful, wonderful time to come be part of the Dirt Fam or another community.
Do it. We're, you know, like we always say, we're not pushing you to do it. We're just telling you that there are a lot of really nice, cool people that you could be playing the game with. So if you have any hesitation at all because you're wondering about that, do it. Go for it.
And hey, we've been having a bunch of great new faces come in just this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day I'm seeing bing, 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 like people coming in like, hey, I've listened for a long time, or I just started listening. I'm decided to take the leap. And that was really exciting to see all these new folks come in to take on the journey of Destiny 2 with us, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's just getting started.
Yep.
Cannot wait.
All right. Do we have some Dirt Fan patrons this week?
We do.
What we got?
We have some Dirt Fan patrons. We got some messages back. We got some new ones. We got to give a shout out to Liquid ATP, Auto Obsession, and Gas and Go. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you for becoming Dirt Fan patrons. If you want to become a patron of the Destiny Reset podcast, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Destiny Reset. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show. We're looking to basically cover expenses that come with having a big podcast like we do. And then also we're working on some ways to increase or improve the production of the podcast. So every dollar has absolutely made a difference, and we appreciate everybody that's become a patron.
Very much.
All right.
Very much so. Yes.
Well, before we forget, Dirt Fam Discourse is the time of the show where you get to sound off. So next week, I'm sure there's going to be a lot to say about the game. So send your emails, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com, or leave us a SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/destinyreset. And we're going to try to make sure we have as much room as we can in the show to hear what you guys had to say about the first week of Destiny 2. All right.
Dude, it's not even less than a reset. It's less than a couple days, and we're going to be hashing it out, talking together on episode 112
You're just
about our experiences playing Destiny.
Moments
2.
away, man.
We're so close.
So very close. All right. You ready to wrap this up?
Let's
Where
wrap
can
it up.
people find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheArrowKnight and on YouTube and Twitch, ArrowKnight. What about you, man?
You going to be streaming this week?
I will be streaming. I should be streaming at least the afternoon of launch day.
Perfect.
And then I hope to be streaming on my Fridays and Mondays, especially when Trials goes live.
I bet you will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What about you, dude?
All right. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at CyborgSasquatch, or twitch.tv/CyborgSasquatch. I will be live. I'm going to attempt to be live at midnight launch. My internet seems to calm down and do its thing at midnight Central Time. So shortly after it launches, which is 11 here, I should be live if I'm not already. I'll be streaming late into the night. I'll be streaming Wednesday the 6th during the day, Thursday the 7th during the day. So come hang out if you want to, or if you're stuck at work, you want to catch some of the action. I will be live. And hey, guess what? I'm getting a new ISP next weekend.
Ooh,
Get to stream at night again because Cox can't fix my internet.
Problem solved.
Problem will be solved.
Finally.
All right, finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter or on www.destinyresetpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app of choice. There's links to all of them on our site. You know you're going to want us in your ear holes next reset talking about Destiny 2.
All about Destiny 2. We didn't have any new iTunes reviews this week, but we'd like to take that opportunity to say thank you to the 125 reviews.
Wow, that's a big number, man.
It is. It's huge. Thank you guys so
Very
much.
much.
Very much appreciate it. All right, dude. Let's wrap this up, get some sleep, get our house chores done, do our thing, because very soon, so soon, we're going to have those late night resets again.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny
2.
Destiny 2, and take care, Guardians.